Gozaimasu, konnichiwa, konbanwa, wherever you're at in the world. Welcome to Last Raps Baseball's live commentary of the Nippon Professional Baseball League. The commentary and views are our opinions and are not affiliated with the NPB, the Pacific League, Central League, or their sponsors. Today, we are giving you the game between the Seibu Lions and the Chiba Lotte Marines. This game here was not originally on our schedule. We were going to call the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks and the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles. Unfortunately, that game has been postponed as the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles have been struck with a number of COVID cases. In fact, they have 7 COVID cases with their players last reported, as well as one of their coaches. So 8 in total affected by the virus, and they are not going to be playing tonight. And tomorrow night's game as well has been postponed between those two teams. So the Chiba Lotte Marines are taking to the field, and now we're going to bring you to tonight's starting lineups, and we'll begin with the Seibu Lions. Leading off and playing in left field, wearing number 38, is Akito Takabe. Batting second and playing center field, wearing number 1, is Kyoda Fujiwara. Batting third at second base, wearing number 8, is Shogo Nakamura. In the cleanup spot, and playing in right field, wearing number 79, is Leonis Martin. Batting fifth and doing the catching, wearing number 32, is Toshiya Sato. Batting sixth and doing the designated hitting is Brandon Laird. Batting seventh and playing first base, wearing number 51, is Koki Yamaguchi. Batting eighth and playing third base, wearing number 5, is Hisanori Yasuda. And batting ninth and playing shortstop, wearing number 4, is Yudai Fujioka. And they are going to be facing Chihiro Samita, who won his NPB debut as he was 1-0 with, he's now 1-0 with a ERA, or he's 1-0 with 7 innings pitched, 1 hit, 3 walks, and 5 strikeouts. And so now we are going to bring you the lineup for the visitors for the Seibu Lions. Leading off and playing in center field, wearing number 46, is Shohei Suzuki. Batting second and playing left field, wearing number 30, is Brian O'Grady. Batting third and playing second base is Shuta Tanosaki. In the cleanup spot, wearing number 33, is Jansen White. Batting fifth and doing the catching is Tomoya Mori. Batting sixth and playing shortstop is Suzuki Genda. Batting seventh and doing the designated hitting is Takumi Kuriyama. Batting eighth and playing first base, wearing number 39, is Ninting Wu. And batting ninth in right field, wearing number 68, is Junichiro Kishi. And they are going to be facing Kota Futaki, who takes to the hill tonight. The young right-hander is making his NPB season debut for the Marines tonight. And that is where we stand. So head-to-head, it's going to be Samita versus Futaki. This one is just about to get underway as Futaka is just completing his warm-up tosses. So hopefully you guys can stick around with us, whether you're listening live or on delay. We always appreciate you being here with us. I apologize for that schedule change, but unfortunately we had no choice, as it was the COVID that ended up taking care of the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles tonight. They'll be back in a little bit. So here come the Lions up to bat. They get things going with Shohei Suzuki. They are wearing their white pants and their navy blue tops, or predominantly navy blue tops. The Marines are in their all-white pinstripes with the black pinstripes and black trim. And we're ready to get this one underway at officially 2:01 or 14:01 Japan time. And the first pitch is a fastball delivered for a called strike, and the count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Suzuki is batting .200 on the season with no homers and 1 RBI. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count now goes to 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes to Shohei Suzuki. Futaki looks in and gets the sign from his catcher Sato. He goes back to work, and there is a fastball that's down in the dirt, blocked by the catcher. And the count now goes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. We got Nash in the house. Hey, Nash, glad you could be here. And so 1 ball and 2 strike pitch coming up from the right-hander Futaki. Again, it's a split finger pitch down to the dirt, and the count goes to 2-2. Nash says he's in here early. Yeah, it's a weekend night. Originally, Nash, and we told everybody that was here, or we announced at the start, we're supposed to call the Fukuoka Rakuten game, and unfortunately, the Golden Eagles have been hit with a rash of COVID cases. So the game between them is postponed tonight and tomorrow. And there's a fastball swung on, and it is golfed into right field. It's going to get down in front of the right fielder, Leonis Martin, and a 2-2 pitch by Suzuki gets him aboard with a base hit single. And that is going to bring up the left fielder, Brian O'Grady. Nash says, yeah, you read the article about that. Yeah, totally unfortunate situation. 7 players and 1 coach down for the count. I didn't catch all the names, but I did see that Buzenitz, the American reliever, was one of them. I also saw that the catcher, I believe it was Utah, or one of their new catchers or rookie, he was down. The other names I just kind of skimmed over quickly. Well, that brings up Brian O'Grady. O'Grady tonight enters the game batting .320. He's got no homers and 3 RBIs. Nash says Samita is starting tonight. Yes, he is. A fantastic NPB debut the other night, only allowing 1 hit through 7 innings. Very, very impressive. And Futaki fires over to first base, and diving back in time is the base runner, Suzuki. O'Grady yet to see a pitch. Brian O'Grady has done himself an excellent piece here. He is absolutely on fire right now in the NPB to start the season, batting .320 with no homers and 3 RBIs. He takes a fastball on the outside corner, and the count quickly is 0-1. It's always good for import players, no matter what league that you go to get off to a good start. There's only a certain amount of positions, at least in the Japanese league, that allow for foreigners to be able to play. And so the import players have to come in and start producing straight away. And that gives them some attention. So when you look at the other team, when you look at the Chiba Lotte Marines, both Leonis Martin and Brandon Laird are struggling. And there's a breaking ball swung on. This is lifted into center field. It's going to get down in front of the center fielder, Fujiwara. He plays it on 1 hop. He fires it back in, and Brian O'Grady is aboard with a single. So back-to-back singles to start the ball game. It's going to bring up the second baseman, Shuta Tanasaki. For Tanasaki on the season, he's hitting a .160. He's got no homers and no RBIs. For those of you who were with us the other night and came into the stream, we had some challenges at the end of the night. We lost our internet, complete internet, and had to get back on using cellular data on the phone just to let everybody know that the game had finished, but it was right at the last pitch of the ball game. So Futaki gets the side from his catcher, but he fakes the throw back to second base. The shortstop, Yudai Fujioka, for the Marines, was sneaking in there. So Tanasaki bats here with runners on first and second and nobody away. He comes set at the belt. He checks the runner at second. He kicks and he delivers. It's a fastball that is taken for a called strike. And the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. One thing that I've noticed in the early going, there are not a lot of home runs so far hit in the NPB, and I don't know why that is. I don't know if there's been a change in baseballs. I'm not sure if the pitching right now is ahead of the hitting. But for some reason, balls are not leaving the yard as they have been in previous years, especially to start the season. So here comes the 0-1 pitch. Futaki checks the runner at second. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball taken at the knees for a called strike. And the count is now 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. It's a beautiful day for baseball. Home of the Marines. There's sunshine, but the players are all in their sleeves. It is a little bit brisk, and you can see in the stands where people are sitting there bundled up. They've got their jackets and their hoodies, but Well, the sun is on them. They look okay. So here we go. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. It's a fastball that just misses off the outside corner, and the count goes to 1-2. Our friend Nash in the chat says, something's up when Leonys Martin is hitting bombs, or maybe when Leonys Martin is not hitting bombs. This entire lineup tonight for the Saitama Seibu Lions, not one player in the starting lineup has a home run. And you go over to the other lineup for the Chiba Lotte Marines, and only one home run in that lineup. There's a fastball that's taken for a called third strike. And Tanasaki stood there like the house by the side of the road and watched that go by for out number 1. And that is going to bring up the third baseman, Jansen Witt. This is going to be our first look at Witt. Witt never played in the big leagues. He got to AAA. He was in the Seattle Mariners organization last year. And he has made the journey over to Japan to apply his trade. He was a former college player at Texas Christian University. He's begun the season 0 for 3. He's got no homers, but he does have an RBI. He bats from the right side. He has his hands quite low, and he has a slightly open stance. And here comes the pitch from Futaki. It's a fastball swung on and missed. And the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Witt played in the Seattle Mariner organization last year, but he'd been with the Boston Red Sox. He was originally a 28th round pick of the Red Sox going back to 2013. He played in their organization, and last year in AAA, he batted .299 with the Mariners. Had himself a very fine season. So here comes the 0-1 pitch, and it's a fastball taken right down the middle. And the count now goes to 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes to Witt. As I said, it'll be our first glance at this particular player. We don't really know how he runs and haven't seen anything from him. We've done the games between the Lions before, but we've not seen anything here yet. So here comes the no ball, 2 strike pitch. And he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses down, and the count is 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Witt. Waiting on deck is the catcher, Tomoya Mori. The other thing in this lineup, too, is the batting averages are absolutely tragic. When you look at it, the guys who've been playing regular, only Brian O'Grady is hitting north of 300. There are a couple other players like Suzuki Genda, uncharacteristically hitting 286. And here's a fastball to Witt. It just misses off the inside corner. The count goes to 2-2. Nash says he feels like this game won't be high scoring. And probably if you're going to take the under, it's probably correct. This is the time to be grabbing the unders. As we see, the offense has been quite slow so far for pretty much everybody across the NPB. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Futaki checks the runner. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on it. Is lifted into right field. Leonys Martin is moving over to the line and foul territory. He's going to have room to make the catch. Tagging at second is the base runner Suzuki, and he is going to advance to third. And that is going to retire White. White sent it a long way, not long enough. Just in front of the warning track and in foul territory as it went the other way with the pitch. And that is going to be out number 2. And that is going to leave it up to the catcher, Tomoya Mori. For Mori on the season, he's batting .185. He's got no homers and 3 RBIs. A stocky catcher, bats from the left side of the plate. He's 5 for 27. There were some changes in the batting order, and you'll see for the Marines, they've shaken up their order a bit. And same thing with the Lions. They're trying to unlock some chemistry with their players. Trying to get the guys up who are swinging the bat a little better. And there's a fastball that misses outside. The count is 1-0. Last year, we saw Genda batting in the 2 spot quite a bit early in the season, and Maybe because he's off to a good start. I'm surprised he's not up there. We saw the Lions play earlier this year, and he was hitting in the 9 spot. So 1 ball and no strikes. Fataki holds at the belt. He kicks and he delivers. It's a fastball that just misses off the outside corner. The catcher, Sato, held it there for the home plate umpire a little extra longer than normal. But he did not get the call. So 2 balls and no strikes to Mori. This might be a good pitch to at 2-0, maybe to put the runner in motion at first base. So we'll see what happens. Here's the pitch. It's a fastball, and they take it for a called strike. And check that. That was actually called a ball. That's 3-0. The catcher, again, not happy with the call. Sorry, guys. 3 balls and no strikes. Maybe I've got to get my glasses fixed because those last 2 pitches looked really, really good. This is going to be the 20th pitch of the inning delivered by Fataki. 3 balls and no strikes. And here's the pitch to Mori. It's a fastball swung on, and it's lifted foul over on the third base side. The count goes to 3-1. Fataki, who put the first 2 runners on in the inning, looking to get himself out of this little mini first inning jam. So 3 balls and 1 strike to Tomoya Mori. Holding at the belt is Fataki. He kicks and he delivers. It's a fastball swung on. This is lifted into center field. Coming in on it is the center fielder, Fujiwara. He's got room, he's got time, and he's going to make the catch. And that is going to do it for the Lions here in their half of the first inning. So for Saitama Seibu Lions, they had no runs on 2 hits. There were no errors and 2 runners left the board. We're through a half inning. It is the Saitama Seibu Lions, nothing. The Chiba Lotte Marines coming to bat. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple minutes with the call at the bottom of the first inning. We're glad you could be here with us. Here is our friend Steve Rademacher. Be sure to check out his channel after the game. Here's Steve.
Hello, kids. Steve coming at you. It's Steve Rademacher. And if you like interesting stuff, if you like to laugh a little bit, and if you enjoy collecting, this channel's for you. If you like non-sport cards, we have them. You like pseudo-sport cards, we open them. Even if you like entire boxes of completely pointless stuff or other sports, we have everything here. I drop a different video every day, and there's always a theme to it, from No Filter Friday to Saturday morning cartoons, even Sunday shoutouts. Once in a while, we'll get a little froggy and show Money Money Monday, where I showcase a bunch of my currency. We have Legos, we have Star Wars, we have a good time. We even have my brother on Takeover Tuesday. Be there or be square. Back to Freddy.
Appreciate you, Steve, your support of our channel, and in turn, we like to support Steve Rademacher. After the game, be sure to check out Steve Rademacher and his channel. He is a bit of a crazy character. We're going to be back at it here now in the bottom of the first everything. Bottom of the first. Nash says Steve's got everything, and yes, he does. So the Chiba Lotte Marines are going to be getting their first look at the left-hander, Chihiro Samita. Samita was absolutely fantastic in his NPB debut. The lefty went 7 innings, allowing 1 hit, 3 walks, and striking out 5 in his first appearance. And he is going to be facing the top of the order in Akito Takabe, Kyoto Fujiwara, and Shogo Nakamura here in the bottom of the first. For Akito Takabe, batting .222 on the season with no homers and 2 RBIs. So Samita ready to go to work. He works from the windup. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball taken for a called strike. And the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Samita's another pitcher who likes to work with good tempo and pace. There's a breaking ball delivered, and that pitch is swung on and fouled away. And the count is quickly 0-2. So it looks like he's picking up where he left off. Nash says he was surprised that they couldn't convert there in the first inning, how shaky Fataki was. And I'd have to agree with you a little bit there, Nash. Absolutely. Here comes the pitch. It's a fastball that misses down. The count is 1-2. The problem is that he was just having a little bit of a challenge with the command of his pitches. He looks like he's got decent stuff tonight, but locating his spots, a little bit of a challenge. And there's a breaking ball swung on. It's grounded over to second. It's fielded neatly by the second baseman, Tanasaki, and he flips it to first. That's going to retire Takabe on a ground out, 4-3 for out number one here in the bottom of the first. That's going to bring up the center fielder, Kyoto Fujiwara. For Fujiwara on the season, he's hitting .333. He's got no homers, no RBIs, and one stolen base. Left-hander against the left-hander. And Samita delivers. It's a fastball that misses off the outside corner. And the count is 1-0. Samita ready to go back to work. He kicks and he delivers. And there is a fastball that misses inside. And the count is now 2-0. Josh Rother comes in and asks, where can I stream the NPB for free? That's a great question. There was a fella in here the other night. Alexander Leggett was giving some information. We don't put the links or anything like that in the stream. That'll get us in trouble. And there's a fastball that is taken for a called strike. Counts now 2-1. There are places out there. If you go to Reddit, I think was one of them. The other one was, I think, something to do with QQQ. But you'd have to go back and look at the chat, the game we did the other night. And there's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into center field. Camping out underneath it is the center fielder, Suzuki, and he's going to make the catch. That is 2 up and 2 away. That is going to bring up now we had mentioned last year that DAZN in the United States was carrying games. But of course, it was Japanese. You had to listen to the Japanese feed. So people were listening to us and syncing it. So Nash is giving you some hits. Live QQ, HI Box, NPB blog. Go check that out. So here comes the hitter, Shogo Nakamura, and the first pitch to the captain is taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Nakamura is batting .250 on the season. He's got no homers and 3 RBIs. He got off to a slow start when we last saw him, but he is now starting to pick his average up. Nakamura waits on the pitch from Samita. It's a changeup swung on and tapped foul over on the first base side of home plate. The count is 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. Troy's in the house tonight. He says, who's got the better starting pitcher? Welcome, Troy. Samita ready to go to work. He rocks into motion. He kicks and delivers. And it is a fastball that just misses down, and the count is 1-2. Well, it's a good question. I have to admit, I didn't do a ton of homework on this game because I checked about an hour or so before first pitch, and we were originally going to call the Fukuoka Tohoku game. And the problem with that is the game has been postponed as a number of players for the Golden Eagles are out with the virus. So here's the 1-2 pitch. It's a breaking ball down in the dirt. It is swung on and missed. They tag the batter, Nakamura, and he is retired for out number 3. So for the Marines and their half of the first inning, there were no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're now through 1 complete inning. It is the Saitama Seibu Lions, nothing. The Chiba Lotte Marines, nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple minutes, and I'll answer the rest of your question, Troy, when I get back. It's great to have you in the house. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving now to the top of the second inning. It's going to be the 6, 7, and 8 hitters coming up to bat for the Lions. That means Suzuki Genda, Takumi Kuriyama, and Ning-Ting Wu to get things going for the Lions. And then they are going to be facing Kota Futaki, who had a bit of a challenge in the last inning. He has good stuff, but he just couldn't seem to get the command of his pitches. So Futaki is on the hill. So the question came up in the end of the last inning. Troy asked, who do you think the better pitcher was? Well, Chihiro Samita made his NPB debut in his last start, and he was absolutely electric. 7 innings, only allowing 1 hit, walking 3 and striking out 5. He was the top pick in the draft by the Seibu Seibu Lions. The Marines going with Futaki here, making his season debut. So if I had to put some advice, I would say probably Samita, who pitched really well. He's already in a groove. There's a first pitch delivered to Suzuki Genda, taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. So hope that answers your question, Troy. Here comes the 0-1 pitch, and it's a changeup that misses down. Count now goes even to 1-1. It was definitely not an efficient first inning for right-hander Futaki. He threw 21 pitches. Here's the pitch. It's a fastball swung on and fouled away. The count is 1-2. So Samita pitches for the Seibu Seibu Lions. Futaki is pitching for the Marines. And so Samita is Sumida, if you're looking for the spelling. But he was absolutely electric the last game, and it looks like he rolled out of bed today and has the same rhythm that we saw the last time. We're going to have to make sure he is circled on our calendar because I want to watch him pitch again. Jerry English is in the house. He says, let's go under 6 runs. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away over on the third base side. I have to say, Jerry, the way the games are going right now in the early NPB, the hitting has been at a premium, or it's been hard to see anything that is happening. Either the pitching is really good or the hitting is poor. Maybe we got to check the baseballs if they're doctored up. So here's the 1-2 pitch to Genda. It's a fastball swung on. It's lifted into left field. It's going to get down in front of the left fielder, Takabi, on a bounce. And Genda is aboard with a leadoff single, so it has a very similar pattern to the way the first inning began. So that's going to bring up the designated hitter, Takumi Kuriyama. I wouldn't be surprised that the Lions may want to test the boundaries of Toshiya Sato. I say that because I really think Genda could be in a position to run here. Josh says, found the video. You guys are the best. Appreciate it. Well, maybe I'll sync it with the sound with us, and hopefully you can stay with us. Appreciate you, Josh. So Takumi Kuriyama steps at the bat, right-hander against the left-hander. Futaki holds at the belt. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball taken for a called strike. And the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Kuriyama on the season is hitting .235. He's got no homers and 5 RBIs. So right-hander against the left-hander again. It's Futaki ready to go to work. And he steps off and fakes a throw over to first base. Easily getting back in time is the base runner, Genda. If they're concerned about Genda maybe stealing off of Sato, maybe they might consider putting him in motion. There's a fastball that misses off the outside corner, and the count is 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Kuriyama. Kuriyama is getting the start as the designated hitter tonight. We saw him work behind the plate in the last series that we saw the Lions. So here comes the 1-1 pitch. And again, over to first base, throws Futaki, and diving back in time is Genda. So 1 ball and 1 strike. So Futaki holds at the belt. He kicks and he delivers. It is a split finger pitch that misses down. And the count now goes to 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. I'm not really sure that I like the way that the catcher Sato received that ball. He had to really extend out and get it. Took it off the hop. It's very, very dangerous to catch it on the short hop. I know where the ball was located. Might have been a difficult block for him, but that's living dangerous to do that, especially when it's in the dirt. There's a fastball swung on, and Kuriyama now is has 2 balls and 2 strikes on him. That pitch was right at the letters. I think Kuriyama might want that pitch back again. You could see when he finished his swing, he had that look of disgust on his face. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Fataki looks in. He gets the sign from his catcher, Sato, and he comes set at the belt. He kicks and he delivers. It's a fastball swung on and fouled away over on the third base side. The count remains at 2-2. Nin-Ting Wu waits his turn on deck. We'll definitely see Wu this inning. So Kuriyama gets the sign from his catcher, Sato. He checks the runner at first base. He's set at the belt. And he fires over to first base, and getting back in time is the base runner, Genda. What impressed me about that move over to first base by Fataki is his quick feet. He was very, very quick with his feet to fire over to the bag at first. Sometimes pitchers may not have the best arm, or maybe not a 95-mile-an-hour arm, but if they can have a quick foot and a quick snap throw, that's just as effective. And again, good quick feet, and again, he throws over to first. Sometimes see pitchers when they throw over, they can never pick off anybody to save their life. They're too slow with their feet. They're not able to get the throw over there in time. The runners easily are getting back. Usually pitchers are 1 to 1.1 second from the time they first move to the time the ball gets over to first base. And again, there's a ball thrown over. And again, diving back in time is the base runner, Genda. So Troy says, just curious, what drives you to cover the NPB? It's kind of a deep question, Troy, so we can answer that over the next little bit for you. But what fascinates me about the game is the way that it's played. You can go anywhere and everywhere in the world, and the game can be played a little bit differently in each spot. And here comes the 2-2 pitch. It's swung on. It's grounded to second. Nakamura fields it over to second for one. Back to first. And it's a double play as Kuriyama is doubled up. That's going to go down as a 4-6-3 double play. And it's 2 for the price of 1 for the Chiba Lotte Marines here. That is going to bring up Nin-Ting Wu. So Troy asked the question, what drives you to cover it? I really enjoy watching good fundamental baseball. And as I kind of hinted the other night, the Major League Baseball is the best baseball players or physical athletes, whether it be the Latin Americans, whether it be the South Americans, whether it be the Americans, Canadians, Europeans, whoever, even the Japanese that are there. Just the overall quality of the athlete is better. And there's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 1-0. For Nin-Ting Wu, he's batting .300 on the early season. He's 3 for 10. He's got no homers and no RBIs. So here comes the pitch. It's a fastball that misses up and away, and the count now goes to 2-0. So, but when you watch the fundamentals that the Japanese have, they are very, very fundamentally sound. They do an outstanding job of their bunts. They do a good job of their defense. There's a fastball swung on and missed by Wu. Count goes to 2-1. They're not afraid to play small ball. They do hit and run, maybe not as much as I would like, but we do see them put the runners in motion. There's a breaking ball that drops in. It's now evens the count at 2-2 to Wu. So from all of those standpoints, it makes for a very entertaining baseball. When you get a chance to watch the Major League games, sometimes it's strikeouts and homers. So here comes the pitch. It is swung on, and it is tap foul behind home plate. Count stays at 2-2. Josh asks, do you cover LMB? I assume it's the MLB as well. And if so, do you notice the difference in the fundamentals? Yeah, absolutely, I do. I'll use this as an example as we talk a little bit. I think of the Hiroshima Carp shortstop. And here's a breaking ball to Wu, swung on. It is lifted into deep left field Moving back underneath it is the left fielder Takabi. He makes the grab, and that is going to do it for out number 3. So for the Seibu Lions in their half of the inning, there was no runs on one hit. There were no errors and nobody left the board. When I come back, I'll continue to do that. And LMB is the Mexican League, says Josh. Don't cover the Mexican League. But we'll talk a little bit more when I come back, and I'll share with you my thoughts on the difference between the MLB and what we see in the Japanese League. And right now they're running a Jeep out onto the field with the Marine ready to shoot off some souvenirs into the stands. We'll be back in just a minute, everybody. We're glad you're with us. Welcome back, everybody. We're moving to the bottom half of the second inning. It's going to be the heart of the Marine batting order coming up. That's Leonis Martin, Toshiya Sato, and Brandon Laird. The Marines have shuffled the deck a little bit with the order since the last time we've seen them. Leonis Martin was batting second. They've dropped him down to fourth. And Brandon Laird was hitting in the cleanup spot, and they've dropped him down to sixth. So they're trying to unlock a combination with their lineup. As we said, the lineups certainly have been struggling offensively. So back to the thoughts. The LMB, no, we don't do anything with the Mexican League. But I remember years ago watching a little bit of it on Univision when I was a kid. It was always kind of fun to watch some of that stuff, and especially the Winter League where the former big leaguers would go down and play in it. So Leonis Martin steps up to the plate to face the lefty Samita, and the first pitch dusts Martin off the plate with a fastball, and the count is now 1-0. Martin on the season is batting 100. He is 2 for 20 on the year, and we saw him get both of those hits in a game earlier this week. And it's been 0 for the rest of the way. So here's Samita back to work. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. It is popped up on the left side of the infield. Moving underneath it is Jansen Witt. He's going to make the catch. And that is going to retire Martin for the first out of the inning. So 1 up and 1 away, and that's going to bring up Toshiya Sato. So back to the small ball, but just the way that everything plays out. When you watch the teams play, it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch the little things that they do. So I was starting to use my example of the shortstop for the Carp, and it escapes me off the top of my head. It's I want to say it's Kikuchi, Ryusi Kikuchi. And the things that he does, there's a fastball, take it for a called strike. He's a really good shortstop for the Carp. But when I think of his tools and abilities, and he wanted to come to Major League Baseball, but nobody picked up on him. He was an outstanding player in the NPB, but when you look at his size, you look at how he's built, there's a breaking ball that misses inside to Sato. He just didn't fit that Major League profile. You think of shortstops in the big leagues, guys that are 6'2", 6'3", they range into the hole, can go backhand side and make plays. And there is a fastball swung on. It's lined over the head of the second baseman into right field. And Sato was aboard with the first hit of the ball game for the Marines. And that's going to bring up the designated hitter, Brandon Laird. So I hope that kind of answers your question a little bit. Just in terms of the physical size. So if you've got a guy 5'7", 5'8", going into the 6 hole to make a backhand play, and you got another guy 6'4", he just covers more ground. He's able to get to the ball a little bit better than most. And so you always take the chance with the bigger guy. Even though you might be a half a step slower, just the physical size increases his range. So that brings up Brandon Laird to the plate. Laird is batting 174 this season. He's got no homers and 2 RBIs. We only saw a couple times the other night, or 4 times the other night, that Samita had to come from the stretch, and there's a first pitch breaking ball that misses down and in. The count is 1-0. I sometimes think about the National Basketball Association when you watch the NBA players. sometimes they're just a little too good, in ways. And when you watch the college ball, the NCAA, they're class below, but it's just a little bit more entertaining, a little bit more uncertainty in the game. And that's, I think, what the NPB provides. Just a little step below and a little bit more uncertainty. They're not always making the plays, maybe at the percentage that the others do. And a pitch to Laird is fouled away on the first base side. The count is 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. By the looks of it, a lot of folks probably were anticipating the Hawks game tonight. And instead, you're getting the Lions and Marines. And so we have a quiet night here on a Friday night in North America. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away. And the count goes 1-2. So Josh asked the question, he goes, I'm brand new to watching NPB games. Are there any differences to the rules or big things to know? Well, one of the things that is the games won't go longer than 12 innings. Last year, they were ending in ties. They can still end in a tie after 12 innings. So, but they don't play anything further than 12 in the regular season. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into center field. It's going to get down in front of Suzuki. Stopping at second is the base runner, Sato. And so the Marines have something going here with 1 out in their half of the second inning. So the runner at second now is Sato. Laird is the runner at first. That's going to bring up the first baseman, Koki Yamaguchi. So that's the one thing. Another thing is that there is also import rules, Josh. Like when you think of Major League Baseball, you can have Koreans, you can have Cubans, you can have all kinds of import players all over the field. I was thinking about this the other day. The Chicago White Sox have Jose Abreu at first. They've got Moncada at third. They've got Luis Robert in center. And in right field, left field, you have Eloy Jimenez. I believe left field. Maybe it's right field. There's a fastball taken for a called strike to Yamaguchi, and the count is 0-1. Yamaguchi is batting .200 on the season. He's the only player in the Marines lineup with a home run. He's also got 3 RBIs to go with it. He's 1 for 5 on the season. So here comes the 0-1 pitch. Sumida checks the runner Sato at second. He checks him again. He delivers, and it's a breaking ball that misses down and in, and the count is 1-1. So you're only allowed at one time is 3 import players. So how they substitute guys in and out, certainly the way the Marines do it is they've got Edney Hechavarria, and you'll see him come in the game late as a defensive replacement. And there's a ground ball hit to the first baseman, Wu. His play is only going to be to second. It's going to be a fielder's choice. He was holding the runner, had to come off the bag to get it. Made the throw. That's going to advance Sato over to third. The putout is going to be a fielder's choice, and that's going to go down 3-6 to erase Laird at second base. He's out for out number 2. And Yamaguchi is aboard at first with the throw that did not come back the other way. And that's going to bring up Hisanori Yasuda. Yasuda steps up to the plate. He's 1 for 3 on the season. So those are 2 things to me that right out of the gate, the import rule and the extra inning rule where you're not playing past 12 innings in a game are probably the 2 heaviest hitters. There's other little rules too that, kick in and you can watch, but nothing that I would say is drastic like that. There's a breaking ball that misses down and away to Yasuda, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Yasuda bats from the left side against the left-handed pitching Sumida. Just some tendencies in the game that you'll notice is, unlike in North America, where they really are concerned about matchups, lefty-lefty, and so on and so forth, you'll see that the Japanese will load their lineups up with left-handed hitters against left-handed pitching. It doesn't seem to bother them. That breaking ball misses inside to Yasuda, and the count is 2-0. So that's something else that's worth noting, at least in my opinion. So 2 balls and no strikes. Sumida holds at the belt. Here comes the pitch. It is a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 2-1. So Joss asked the question, do they care as much about launch angle? And what I can tell you is this. In 2020, I had meetings with the Japanese Baseball Federation when I was in Tokyo. I was there on other matters, and I was talking to some of the people that were in their executive, and they were talking about why they bring the import players in is they like to see the home run. But the typical Japanese players, they don't hit a lot of home runs. There's a breaking ball waved at and missed by Yasuda, and the count is 2-2. So philosophically, I don't believe that is something that you're going to see over there. And so I think of a player like Carter Stewart. Carter Stewart was the first round draft choice of the Atlanta Braves a few years ago, and the Braves refused to sign him. And he ended up, Scott Boras was his agent, and he ended up signing with the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks. This, I believe, is his fourth year now in the NPB or his third year. I have to reference that. And anyways, when Stewart went over there, and he's been on their farm team, and he's got a little taste of action at the NPB level. And here's the 2-2 pitch. It's a breaking ball, swung on and missed. And Samita has retired Yasuda for the third out of the inning. That's the second strikeout for the young lefty in 2 innings. And so that is going to retire him. They had no runs in the inning on 2 hits. There were no errors and 2 runners left aboard. Hold my thought on Carter Stewart. We're going to come back in just a moment. The score after 2 innings of play is the Chiba Lotte Marines nothing, the Seibu Lions nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back in a second. And I'll give you my thoughts on what Carter Stewart had to say about pitching to Japanese hitters versus pitching to American hitters. Welcome back, everybody. We're moving to the top of the 3rd inning, and it is going to be the 9-1-2 hitters in the batting order for the Seibu Lions. It means it's going to be Junichiro Kishi, Shohei Suzuki, and Brian O'Grady to get things going here in the top of the 3rd. We were talking in the last inning, a question came up about launch angle and about stuff in Major League Baseball. And so I was starting to tell a story about Carter Stewart. Carter Stewart, you can go back and listen to the interview. It was on Baseball America. I want to say it was in 2019 or 2020 in December. And as I mentioned, Carter Stewart was originally a first-round pick of the Atlanta Braves, and the Braves saw his medical charts, and they tried to lowball him. They said, hey, look, we're not going to sign you because we think you got to get surgery. We don't like your medical charts, but we'll offer you X number amount of dollars. And so his agent, Scott Boras, basically said, don't sign. Go to college for a year, and we'll get you your money. And sure enough, he did. He signed to go to Japan. And he got, I guess, $7 million, which was a heck of a signing bonus. So here's Junichiro Kishi, who steps up to the plate. He is 1 for 2 on the season. He takes a first pitch fastball for a called strike. The count is 0-1. What Stewart said facing North American hitters is you could go up in the zone, and because of the launch angle, up in the zone, you could get guys to swing and miss at pitches because of their angle of their bat and what they're trying to do. So elevate a fastball up in the zone with 2 strikes, and guys are swinging and missing and walking back to the dugout. In the Japanese league, he said the difference is they're not trying to hit the ball 500 feet. So here's the 1-1 pitch. It's a breaking ball that misses outside. They appeal down to first base. The first base umpire said he didn't go. And that now has got the count at 2 balls and 1 strike. So 2-1 to Kishi. And here is the pitch from Fataki. It's swung on. It's grounded on a couple of hops to third. It's fielded by Yasuda. He fires to first. That's going to retire Kishi on a ground out 5-3 for out number 1 here in the 3rd. So just back to those comments is Carter Stewart was saying the difference with the Japanese is their 2-strike approach is also better. They really shorten up on their swings. They're just concerned about putting the ball into play and making it a tough play for the defense. Whereas In Major League Baseball, some people will say there's no such thing as a two-strike approach for a lot of hitters. They're just trying to hit the ball 500 feet. So here comes the first pitch to the leadoff hitter, Shohei Suzuki, and it's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. And there is a breaking ball swung on. This is lifted into deep left field. Moving back on it is the left fielder, Takabe. He's going to make the catch on the run just in front of the warning track. And that's going to retire Suzuki for the second out of the inning. So Futaki is making some quick work. He's settling down facing the Lion hitters. That is going to bring up Brian O'Grady. O'Grady tonight singled his first time up. He's raised his average to 346. He's got no homers and 3 runs batted in. He bats from the left side against the right-hander Futaki. Futaki kicks and delivers. It's a fastball. Take it for a called strike. And the count is 0-1. Futaki, as we say, seems to be settling down. He could use a 1-2-3 inning here, and there's a split finger pitch that misses down, and the count is 1-1. Another nuance or something else that you see in the Japanese league more than in North America, the North Americans have gone away from the split finger pitch. You see it a lot in the Japanese league, and the reason I say the North Americans have gone away is they were finding a lot of elbow injuries with the split finger pitch. There's a fastball swung on. It's grounded foul over on the third base side. A lot of elbow/forearm issues. And I don't know if that's because maybe overall the North American, or I shouldn't say North American, I should say the Latin players maybe throw harder. But that is possibly maybe one explanation on aggregate. If they're throwing harder, it puts more strain. But you get the odd pitchers who do have the split finger pitch in Major League Baseball still. I think of Kevin Gossman of the Blue Jays now. There's a fastball that misses inside to O'Grady, and the count's 2-2. And there are guys who do throw it. Obviously, Shohei Ohtani throws a split finger pitch. And as we say, a lot of the Japanese pitchers, it's still a pitch over there. Josh asks another question, says, are a lot of analytics utilized in the NPB? And there is a fastball swung on it, slowly grounded over to first. Fielding the ball is the first baseman, Yamaguchi. He flips it over to first to the pitcher covering. And that is going to do it. That is a ground out, 3-1 for out number 3. So the Lions go quietly in their half of the third. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left the board. We'll come back and answer that last question Josh has tossed up there in just a couple moments. But we really appreciate you checking in. Here is our friend Matt tonight.
Well, you've got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just one roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole.
Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the bottom of the third inning, and it's going to be Yudai Fujioka, Akito Takabe, and Kyoto Fujiwara coming up for the Marines. And Troy says, let's have a pitcher's duel, and it is sure starting to look that way, that's for sure. This game here, those hits are at a premium. So back to the question that Josh asked in the last half inning, are analytics used in the NPB? They are starting to look at that more. A lot of the baseball is still played traditionally. You don't see a lot of shifts. You do see some shifting, but not like you see in North America where they put the rover out in right field and they've only got one guy on the left side. I mean, the Japanese do like to bunt, and they will bunt and force the issue. So this brings up Yudai Fujioka to lead it off. He's hitting 154 on the season. He's 2 for 13. Left-hander against the left-hander. Samita kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses up and in, and the count is 1-0. Yeah, Josh says the time between innings is very nice. The other thing is the players really hustle on and off the field. They move in, they move out. There's tempo and pace. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted foul down the right field line, and it looks like it's going to get into the seats, and it does. That's going to even the count to Fujioka to 1-1. Yeah, absolutely. The pace of the game, the tempo of the game. There was a couple of nights ago, both the starting pitchers were a little slower than my liking, but for the most part, this game does move quickly. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and it's a breaking ball that misses upstairs, and the count now goes to 2-1. Nash says the NPB definitely has faster pitch times. Yeah, without a doubt. They get the ball. They're ready to go back to work. There's no messing around. Here's the 2-1 pitch. There's a fastball swung on. This is lifted into left field. Moving over toward the foul line is the left fielder O'Grady. He makes the catch. That's going to retire Fujioka for the first out of the inning. That is going to bring up the left fielder, Kido Takabe. Nash says he gets annoyed when pitchers take like 25 seconds per pitch. Absolutely correct. Usually the rule of thumb is you want pitchers working in about 15 seconds. That's the magic number. You want them 15 under, maybe 12, 13 seconds, but you don't want them really doing that because you're going to put your defense to sleep. There's a breaking ball that misses upstairs, and the count is 1-0 to Takabe. Help keeps the game moving. Guys are getting the ball. They're not wasting time forever on the mound. Here comes the 1-0 pitch, and there's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. And I'll say this, when Samita gets the ball, he's ready to go, and here we go again. He rocks into the motion, and there is a fastball swung on. This ball is scorched down the right field line, but it's going to reach the seats, and it's hooked foul. So that's going to make the count now 1-2 to Takabe. So back to the question by Josh. We saw the other night when the Marines were playing that the shortstop Hechavarria sometimes would, the closest I would say to shift, he was almost over the bag at second base. He was definitely in between the base runner and the bag. And there were a couple of times last year, I remember when Corey Spangenberg was playing, teams would play him to pull left-handed sticks. So they would move him over a little bit more, move them over a little more. And there was a fastball swung on it. It's grounded up the middle into center field for a base hit. So Takabe is aboard with a 1-out single here in the bottom half of the third inning. And that's going to bring up the center fielder, Kyoto Fujiwara. Fujiwara tonight is 0 for 1. He flew up to center field his first time up. He'll be followed by Nakamura and then Leonis Martin. Just like 15 seconds between pitches is kind of a rule of thumb, 15 pitches per inning is also a bit of a rule of thumb. And that's the first time I've seen the left-hander Samita throw over to first base. That really wasn't much of a move. Fujiwara is now 2 for 7 on the season. So here comes the pitch. He squares the bunt. It's a breaking ball that misses down and away. And the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. So 1 ball and no strikes to Fujiwara. It's a left-hander versus left-hander battle. Samita kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball down in the dirt. The count goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. I guess if Josh is still in the house, another thing that you see differently, or I see differently, is the amount of off-speed pitches in the Japanese league. In the playoffs a couple of years ago, when Yoshi Satsugo, the Japanese third baseman / outfielder, was there, and here comes the first pitch. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is popped up behind second base. Camping out underneath it is the shortstop Genda. He makes the catch. And that is going to retire Fujiwara for the second out of the inning. And that's going to bring up the second baseman, Shogo Nakamura. Josh says his first exposure to the NPB was the Spinal Tap movie. They wore a Yomiuri Giants jersey at the end of the movie. That's kind of funny, actually. The Tokyo Dome is an interesting place if you get a chance to go over there. I mean, the dome stadiums are dome stadiums, but they kind of call it the Egg. It's the nickname. So no balls and no strikes. Nakamura digs in, and here's the pitch. It's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. I've been to a couple of the parks. I've been to the Jinju Stadium in Yakult, also in Tokyo. But I've not been to the others, and the one I'd really like to see is that park where the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles play. They got a Ferris wheel in left field. It's kind of a neat-looking park. And here's the pitch. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is driven into right field. It's going to get down in front of the right fielder, Kishi. He comes up throwing to third. It is cut off by the shortstop, Genda. Sliding into third is Takabe as he goes first to third on the base hit. Nakamura is the board with that single, and that's going to bring up Leonis Martin with two away here and runners on the corners. Something else you see too, or I've been picking up on in the Japanese league, is you'll see a lot of fake steals sometimes. Guys sometimes will be at first, and they'll look like they're going to run. They take a couple of hard steps, shut her down. So those are things that what I say are almost like lost pieces of the game in Major League Baseball. You see it occasionally, but you don't see it as regular as you do in the Japanese league. That brings up Leonis Martin, who's 0 for 1 tonight. He popped out to third his first time up. He's now 2 for 21 on the season. This would be a good time for him to break out of a slump, and there's a breaking ball that misses down in the dirt. The count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes to Leonis Martin. I was really amazed the other night with the festive atmosphere that we had in here. The most we had in one sitting, we had about 46 people in listening to the game, which was fantastic. My thoughts on it were is that I was having a hard time keeping up with the chat. And as I look back at it, I go, well, I think I maybe be happy with about 10 to 20 people in the chat. And that way we can keep talking to everybody. And there's a breaking ball delivered to Martin that is taken for a called strike, and the count goes to 1-1. Nash said last night was definitely the Deegan early night. I'm not sure what that is. So 1 ball and 1 strike. And here's the pitch. It is a changeup swung on, and they got some shenanigans going as the base runner Nakamura has stole second. You see that quite frequently. The catcher came up. He faked the throw to third. He faked the throw to second. He ended up holding it, but Nakamura has stolen the base, and he is in scoring position. So there's the case right there where they're more active on the bases. And that last pitch was a strike to Martin, and the count is now 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. They do have an open base, and here's the pitch. It is a breaking ball down. A nice stop by the catcher Mori. Saves a run. Oh, yeah, Nash says the degenerate gambling. Yeah, we got the late night gamblers that like to come in some nights. It's kind of funny there, Nash, when we see that. Actually, I don't mind it. It actually kind of makes it a little bit more entertaining. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. So sometimes the crowds on different nights are a little different. Here's the 2-2, and there's a fastball swung on and missed. That is the 3rd strikeout of the game for Samita, and it's the 3rd time he has got the third out of the inning via the strikeout. So the Marines, they had a couple of runners in the inning. They had no runs on 2 hits. There were no errors and 2 runners left aboard. Samita does his part as being an escape artist. We are now through 3 innings. It is the Chiba Lotte Marines, nothing. The Saitama Seibu Lions, nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a moment with the call of the top of the 4th inning. We're glad you could be here. Hold tight. Welcome back, everybody. We're moving to the top of the 4th inning. This game has got some tempo and pace to it. And so coming up to bat in the top of the 4th inning, for the side of Seibu Lions, it's the 3, 4, and 5 hitters to face Kota Futaki. That means Shota Tanasaki, Jansen Witt, and Tomoya Mori are set to come to the plate. And that is what we've got here. We're laughing about the gamblers that are coming in, of course, and the baseball fans. Obviously, the gamblers are listening because they want to, or want some insight, or think that I could give them some more insight of how the game is going. And to be honest with you, I can't. I watch enough stuff, and I don't know if I can always pick. Sometimes, you look at tendencies, like I was saying the other night before the game started, when the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks in the first 2 games of that last series used their 8th and 9th inning guys in the first 2 games, that they may have a challenge trying to close the game out. And so Tanasaki steps to the plate. He's 0 for 1 tonight. He struck out looking his first time up. He takes a breaking ball outside for a ball 1. Count is 1-0. But it'll be curious to see how the Japanese use their pitchers, because they have a tendency to leave their starters in a little longer than they do in North America. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 1-1. Now, I'm not sure if that's because of the lack of resources. I like the fact that the Japanese, for the most part, are trying to develop Japanese starters. They bring the Latins or the North Americans in to work in the 8th and 9th innings. I wondered about that when I first started watching. Why are there not more North American starters? Because the Japanese want to develop their own. It's a breaking ball that swung on and tap foul over on the third base side, and the count is 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Tanasaki has a very open stance. Hands are moving, waggling the bat. Here's the pitch. It's a breaking ball that misses down and away. And the count is 2-2. I also find it fascinating, too, not only when the people that are coming in looking for the gambling information or asking questions about what's happening. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. There's a fastball that misses down and away, and the count now goes to 3-2 to Tanasaki. I find it fascinating that when they come in and they're looking around, they want to know what's going on in the scope of the game, and trying to get a vibe or trying to get a feel for if it's going to be that under or over. Here's the 3-2 pitch, and there's a fastball, and Tanasaki kind of half waved at the pitch, and he's gone down on strikes for the 2nd time tonight. That pitch cut the plate right in half. The right-hander Futaki is definitely settled down after that first inning. So that's the first out of the inning. That's going to bring up Jansen Witt. Witt now on the season is 0 for 4. He flew out to right field his first time up. He really spanked the ball down the right field line. This is his 2nd game in the NPB, and the first pitch is a fastball swung on. It's grounded up the middle, and that's going to be his first hit of the NPB. Welcome to the Japan Professional Baseball League, Mr. Witt. That is your first hit. Keep the ball. And so he is aboard with 1 out, and that's going to bring up the catcher, Tomoya Mori. I see Josh says, do they use their bullpens in the same way? I'll even go back further. To me, in my eyes, where the game started to change was when Lou Piniella was managing the Cincinnati Reds in the late 80s, early 90s. And he had the nasty boys. He had Rob Dibble and he had Norm Charlton coming out of the pen. And that's where he started to shorten the game up. He'd bring them out in the 8th and the 9th innings, and the pitchers, if you get me 7, we're closing it out at 8 and 9. There's a split finger pitch, misses down to Maury, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. So do they do that? Yeah, they do. They do use the bullpens, but you'll see the pitchers. I find the starters will go longer. You'll see some starters will go 120 pitches. There's a fastball that misses off the outside corner. The count is 2-0. Again, that pitch looked pretty good. But now, mind you, the angle of the camera is a little bit offset. So sometimes we don't always get the good view there. So 2 balls and no strikes. And Fataki delivers. It's a fastball swung on. It is lifted foul on the third base side. Count is now 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. We're going to be on the air again tomorrow night with these same 2 teams. Might be a little bit of a race for me to get this one going. I hope I can get there to get it started on the way. Got some commitments. Be out of my commitment by 8:30-ish on the Pacific Coast. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. And the count is now 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. The runner at first is Witt. The catcher Maury is at the plate with a 2-2 count, and there is 1 away here in the 4th inning. Fataki ready to go back to work. He checks the runner at first, and he comes set at the belt. And now he steps off the rubber to reset himself, and we're going to do this all over again. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. So here comes the 2-2 pitch. It is a fastball swung on. It is grounded to second, flipping it to short for 1, over to first. It is a 4-6-3 double play. And that is going to do it here for the Lions in their half of the 4th inning. So they've got no runs on 1 hit. There were no errors and nobody left the board. We are now through 3.5 innings, and the score is still 0-0 between the Lions and the Marines. Stick around, everybody. We will be back in just a couple moments. We're glad you're with us. I will be back to give you the call after this. Hold tight. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving to the bottom half of the 4th inning. It's going to be Toshiya Sato, Brandon Laird, and Koki Yamaguchi to come up to face the left-handed starter for the Lions, which is Chihiro Samita. And so we're talking here in the chat, and I guess I'm going to ask the guys in the chat, where are y'all from? Where do you call home? We have some regulars that come into the chat. As you know, the other night we had Alexander Leggett. He was in here, and usually pops in, and we have another fella who's hasn't been around as much this year. We saw him a little bit in March in the exhibition season. That's Ben Roberts. Ben is the expat who calls Yokohama his home. So he pops in every once in a while. And we have some others that are here, like TYN and so on and so forth. So Josh says he is from St. Louis. Troy says he's from Michigan, 20 minutes from Detroit. Are you up I-75 or are you downriver? Or are you more towards going towards Lansing? What area are you from there, Troy? I call North Vancouver, British Columbia, my home now, but I grew up in Windsor, Ontario, and had relatives in East Lansing and Lansing, Michigan, Grand Ledge, that area. Oh, Nash says he's from Alberta, Canada. Awesome. Whereabouts, Nash? In Alberta. Are you up past Oakland Mall there, Troy? That's the old haunt back in the day. So here comes the first pitch of the inning to Sato, and it is a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. And Troy, I don't know how old you are, but I got a good story for you with the Tigers, and it relates to my time when I was in Japan. And there is a fastball that evens the count at 1-1. And Ash says, being from Canada, are you a fan of the band? The band's okay. And there's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is 1-2. Growing up back in the day, we used to listen to two big radio stations in the Detroit area. It used to be WRIF and WLLZ. WLLZ was 98.7. They don't exist anymore. Here's the 1-2 pitch. It's a breaking ball swung on, and it is lifted just over the head of the second baseman, and it has got down into right field, and that is a base hit. Shuta Tanasaki leapt up high, and he just couldn't make the grab. And Sato is aboard with a leadoff single here in the fourth inning. Josh says, how about Max Webster? Nope, not my deal. But I do know who Nardwar the Human Serviette was back in the day. Yes, we saw him. I saw a picture of him recently. It looked like he's lost weight, and it looks like he's gotten a lot older. I remember, if you ever go check out Nardwar, he did an interview with, I think it was Seth Rollins. I think Seth wanted to kill him. So Troy says he likes Dan Dickerson, the best announcer he ever heard, hands down, on 97 Won the Ticket with Jim Price. There's a fastball that misses inside, and the count is quickly 1-0 to Laird. My dad would say different. Dan Dickerson, I don't mind Dickerson. I don't mind Price either. Obviously, if you've grown up listening to him, you kind of get to the feel. Of course, I listened to Ernie Harwell and Paul Carey growing up for years. And there's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 2-0. We're also very fortunate to have George Kell and Al Kaline in the booth when I was a kid. And of course, now you've got Dan Petrie and Jack Morris, and you've got Craig Monroe and Kirk Gibson. So they're always good to listen to. So 2 balls and no strikes. Samita gets the sign from his catcher, Maury, and he's ready to go to work. And there's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is now 2-1. Troy says he's only 24, so he never got the chance to listen to those ones. The TV announcers are horrible. Yeah, I listened a little bit. I actually didn't mind when Mario Impemba and Rod were there, for sure. They just didn't like each other. Was it Rod Allen tried to beat up Mario with a chair? And there's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is now 2-2. I'm sure that would have been a little bit of excitement in the broadcast booth. So that last pitch, I know Brandon Laird wasn't very happy with that call, and he's letting the umpire know. Certainly the catcher, the way that he received the ball, Maury did not do a great job of receiving it. He did get the call, though. And so flipping over to first base is the lefty Samita, and easily getting back is Sato. Yeah, Rod choked out Mario for sure. Mario has landed with the Boston Red Sox organization. He's got the opportunity to do their games. So here comes the 2-2 pitch, and it's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep left field, moving back to the warning track, looking up, and it is gone. A home run for Brandon Laird, his second hit of the ball game, and that opens the scoring here. A 2-run shot has put the Marines ahead. It's the first runs of the career that Samita has given up. And that is going to put the Marines ahead now 2-0 here in the fourth inning. And Pablo Lopez checking in. Welcome, Pablo. Or I don't know if it, how you say it in the evening, it's maybe buenas tardes, wherever you're at. I know he is in Mexico, and so we appreciate you stopping in. Pablo says he's drinking. Do you want? I appreciate that. We've got to concentrate here for at least another 5 more innings. So here is Koki Yamaguchi to the plate. And the first pitch is a breaking ball that misses down and in, and the count is 1-0. So Pablo is in Mexico. Troy is in Michigan. We have Josh in St. Louis, and Nash is in Alberta. And there's a breaking ball that is swung on and missed. The count is 1-1. If Nash is still here, I don't know if he's close to Edmonton or Calgary. Got a chance to ride the buses there about 8 years ago. Got to know all those roads really well. There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 1-2. I sure don't miss riding from Edmonton to Okotoks or to Lethbridge or to Saskatchewan, that's for sure. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Yamaguchi. And there is a breaking ball that is swung on and missed. It's blocked by the catcher, Mori. He throws to first base, and that's going to retire Yamaguchi on a strikeout. 2-3 for the first out of the inning. Says I'm on the outskirts of those cities, so between Calgary and wherever else. Josh says he's going to call it a night. Appreciate you, Josh, for stopping in. Thanks for being here while you were. It's probably about 1 o'clock in St. Louis. Troy says that there are some plays called by Mario and Rod you'll never forget. Absolutely. They're a pretty good tandem, and they had a good thing going for a long time. And there was a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is 1-0. Well, imagine how that scrap went down in the broadcast booth. So Yasuda is the hitter, and he takes swings at a breaking ball, and it's tapped foul over on the first base side. Fielded by the first base coach. The count goes even at 1-1. Josh was asking questions about differences. One thing in the Japanese league is I don't think they let them keep the foul balls. I've heard that. Foul ball goes into the stands. You don't get to keep it. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is 1-2. That's a little surprising. I know when I coached in Europe, they didn't let people keep the balls because baseballs in Europe are hard to come by. You just can't go to any store and get yourself some baseballs, and even at a professional level, it's very, very difficult as well. There's a fastball that's taken for a ball, and the count is now 2-2 to Yasuda. The inning here that we are in is the bottom of the 4th. I've got to update that on my list there. Appreciate you. Sometimes I'm getting talking here and we're forgetting if we're on the top of the bottom. So there's the adjustment to our ticker. Thanks for the heads up on that. So we're in the bottom of the 4th inning. It is 2-2 to Hisanori Yasuda. And here comes the pitch from Samita. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. And Yasuda is retired for the second via strikeout here in the 4th inning. And that is going to leave it all up to the 9-hole hitter, Yudai Fujioka. So we're watching that replay of the home run to Brandon Laird, or by Brandon Laird again. That ball was absolutely spanked. Got out in a big hurry. Of course, that brought a lot of people, the crowd, to their feet. It's a decent crowd today, afternoon affair in Chiba. And here comes the first pitch. And there's a fastball swung on and fouled away. And the count is 1-1. So Troy, I think, is still in the house here. And if you are, Troy, I'm just going to tell you that story while nobody else is here, but you'll get a good laugh out of it. So if you're still there, just give me the thumbs up. So Samita ready to go back to work. He rocks into the motion and he kicks and delivers. And there's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. And the count is now 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. Another nuance is the pitchers with 2 outs will come up and start throwing in front of the dugouts in the Japanese league. And there's a breaking ball swung on and fouled away. That's down the left field line. And the count is 0-2 still. So no balls and 2 strikes. Troy said he didn't know Gerald Laird's son played in the league. Yeah, it feels like it. It's actually his younger brother. That's Brandon, former first-round pick of the Yankees, and spent some time in the Houston organization. That's where he played at the big league level. And there's a fastball swung on. It's grounded to second. It's flipped over to first base, and that's going to retire Fujioka on a ground out 4-3. When I come back, I'll share the story about when I was in Japan and how I caught up with a former Detroit Tiger. So at the end of the 4th inning, the Marines in their half of the 4th, they had 2 runs on 2 hits. The home run by Brandon Laird. There were no errors and nobody left on base. It is now 2-0 for the Chiba Lotte Marines at the end of 4. We'll be back in just a minute, everybody. Hang tight. We're glad you are here with us. Welcome back, everybody. We're moving to the top of the 5th inning, and it is a 2-0 ball game for the Chiba Lotte Marines. Coming to bat will be Suzuki Genda, Takumi Kuriyama, and Nin Ting-woo. That is the 6, 7, and 8 hitters in the Lions batting order. So I started to say I'm going to tell the story about my time in Japan. I've been there a couple of times, and I'm in Osaka. I'm in the train station, and I've got a Seattle Mariner hat on. I got my jacket and everything else, and waiting for the train to come, and there's a fella who's pushing this really elderly Japanese lady in a wheelchair, and he's coming up and he sees me and he says, "Hey, Seattle Mariner fan, eh?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, kind of." I said, "I live on the coast now, and watching the Mariners is kind of a staple of what I do." And, but I said, "I'm really a Detroit Tiger fan." And we get to talking, and he's shooting the breeze with me. And then the next thing you know, his wife comes, and then his daughters. And there's a breaking ball delivered to Genda on the first pitch of the inning that misses inside, and the count is 1-0. Genda has raised his season average to 318 with the single his first time up. So here comes the 1-0 pitch. It's a fastball that catches the outside corner for a called strike, and the count's 1-1. So this fella says to me, he says, "Oh yeah," he's talking and introduces me to his daughters and to his wife. And next thing you know, our train arrives, and there's a breaking ball swung on, and it is lifted foul over on the first base side, and the count goes to 1-2. So we get onto the train, and by happenstance, I'm seated across from his daughters, but he's kind of, him, his wife, and his what I find out is his mother-in-law are seated behind me. And so we get to talking a little bit, and finally we're about a half hour into the conversation, and asks me what I'm doing in Japan, and he says, "Is it holiday or work?" And there's a fastball that misses down and in. And I said, "Well, it's majority holiday, but I have some work to do." And I told him the story that I was going to be meeting with the Japanese Baseball Federation on the next day or a couple of days later. And there's a fastball swung on, and this is lifted into center field. Moving over underneath it is the center fielder, Fujiwara. He makes the catch. And that is going to retire again for the first out of here in the 5th inning. So at that point, he seemed, pretty interested. He was pressing me on some questions. I'm like, wow, this guy's, really into what I'm telling him. And anyways, finally, his wife says to me about 30 minutes into the conversation, she says, "I don't know if Scott told you, but he used to play for the Tigers." I kind of chuckle a little bit. I go, "Really?" I go, the Hanshin Tigers?" And she says, "No, the Detroit Tigers." And so anyways, we got to talking, and it found out that it was Scott Lusader who played with the Tigers for about 4 seasons. I want to say 87 to 91. There's a breaking ball delivered to Kuriyama upstairs, and the count is 1-0. Anyways, he was over with his wife and his daughters, and his wife is part Japanese, and so visiting the mother-in-law and so on and so forth. And there's a ground ball hit to the second baseman, Nakamura, who fields it easily, flips it over to first, and Kuriyama is retired for the second out of the inning. So 2 up and 2 away, and that's going to bring up the first baseman, Nin Ting-woo. Yeah, but the story gets better than that. So what happens is I see him and we're chatting, and so anyways I help him with the luggage and stuff getting off the train, and I get on my merry way, and I say, well, it was nice to meet you folks, and maybe we'll catch up with you again. And there's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So 2 days later, I'm staying in a place called Asakusa in Japan, or in Tokyo, and here's the 0-1 pitch. It's a breaking ball swung on. This is grounded to short. It's fielded by Fujioka. He throws to first, and that's going to retire Wu on a ground out, 6-3 for out number 3, and that is going to do it here in the top half of the fifth for the Lions. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're through 4.5, but I'm going to stick around and finish this story through this half inning. So what ends up happening is I 2 days later, I decide I'm going to go to the Ueno Zoo. I'm going to go and check that out. I want to see the pandas. And then I go to, I'm all over the place. I'm doing grocery shopping. I'm doing all kinds of things. And it's about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And I'm getting off the train at the Asakusa station. And here I hear, hey, Fred. And I look over, and who's getting off the train at the same time? Is this fella, Scott Lusader, and his wife again. And we had a good laugh. And it was like, we were staying at two different ends of the city. What are the odds in a city of 37 million people that you were going to run into each other? And it was probably the same odds as the Detroit Tigers winning the World Series 2 years ago. Not very good. So anyways, we exchanged cards, and that's been it. And we keep in touch a little bit. And when I get back to the Detroit area, he's up around Rochester Hills. I think we're going to try to touch base and see where he's at and connect when I get back there. So that's what the plan will be. Anyways, that's my story about Scott Lusader. So what do you think? All the way over to the other side of the world, and you end up crossing paths with somebody. So it is going to be the top of the order coming up, and it is going to be Kido Takabe, Kyoda Fujiwara, and Shogo Nakamura for the Marines. They have a 2-0 lead as we're cruising here to the bottom of the fifth inning. And it is kind of interesting. And as I said, it's just by pure accident that sort of happens. And that's, I guess, what makes the world go round sometimes. You never think about those things. And then the next thing you know is catching up with somebody that you didn't even know. And then the next thing you know, you're running into them again, and how many miles away from where you departed. So Takabe, Fujiwara, and Nakamura are coming up to the plate this inning. Takabe is 1 for 2 tonight. He is singled and grounded to second. He's 1 for 2. He's batting 220. He came into the game batting 222 on the season. So Samita ready to go back to work. He goes into the motion and he kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball swung on. It is grounded to first. A nice play backhanded by Wu. He picks it up. He races over, steps on the base, and with one pitch, there is one away here in the bottom of the fifth inning. This game just continues to roll at a quick pace. That's going to bring up the center fielder, Kyoda Fujiwara. Fujiwara tonight is 0 for 2. He's flown out to center, and he's popped to short. So far, the left-hander Samita has cruised right along. He was at 70 pitches through 4 innings. And that is going to help the cause with the 1 pitch and 1 out here in the fifth. There's a fastball that is taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. It's too bad I didn't know that earlier. I would have talked a little bit more baseball with him, but he does a little bit of instruction sometimes in the area there, and there's a fastball that's down. And I asked him, I said, what are things that you talk to young hitters about that are important to you? And he said, one of the things that's important is if you can't hit the high fastball, you're not going to be able to play at Major League Baseball at that level. There's a breaking ball that's down and away, and that's what his thought was. You got to be able to hit the high heat. And if you can't hit the high heat, you're finished. So that kind of takes me into my next story about Yoshi Satsugu. Our friend Josh asked a question earlier about analytics, and there's a breaking ball swung on and missed, and that retires Fujiwara for the second out of the inning. That's the 6th strikeout of the ball game now for the lefty Samita. So the Yoshi Satsugo, who was with the Yokohama Dana Bay Stars, he was with the Tampa Bay Rays, and when they played the Dodgers in the World Series, he only had 2 plate appearances against the Dodgers. And Satsugo, they said didn't get a chance to get a lot of at-bats. Check that. We have Fujiwara still at the dish, everybody. That pitch, I thought we punched him out on strikes. But what it ended up happening is it ended up being a foul ball. And so they've got the count is now full on Fujiwara. So I'm starting to get away from my stories here. So here's the 3-2 pitch. It is swung on. It is tapped up the middle. It's kicked around by the second baseman, Tanasaki, and that is going to go down as an E4. And so aboard is Fujiwara, and that is going to bring up the second baseman, Shogo Nakamura. So I was starting to tell the story about Satsugo. Satsugo didn't get the at-bats in the World Series, and they asked why, and they said that Satsugo hit something like 136 against pitchers who were throwing 95 miles an hour or above. And I was like, wow, that kind of makes sense. He was having a hard time catching up to the big league fastballs at 95 plus. So the Tampa Bay Rays didn't play him, didn't use him as a pinch hitter, only had a couple at bats, and didn't use him in that World Series very much. There's a first pitch breaking ball that misses outside to Shogo Nakamura, and the count is 1-0. Nakamura tonight is 1 for 2. He singled and stole a base his last time up. He struck out in the first. He's now hitting .269 on the season. So Sumida gets the sign from his catcher, Mori. He's ready to go back to work. He kicks and he delivers. There goes the runner. The throw down to second. And if it was in time, the runner would have been out. But the slide by Fujiwara knocks the ball loose. And it gets away from Tanasaki. And that is going to be a stolen base for Fujiwara. The umpire actually came up with the right hand. He should have held it a little bit longer to see if he held on to the ball. But the ball had beaten the runner there in time. He just was unable to hang on. This has not been a game that Shuta Tanasaki is going to be watching regularly. He's made an error tonight. That ball there he didn't hang on to, and he struck out twice tonight. So the count to Nakamura is 2-1 as that last pitch was a breaking ball upstairs. So 2 balls and 1 strike to Shogo Nakamura. The runner at second is Fujiwara. There is 1 away. We're here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And here's the pitch. It is a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count now goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Leonis Martin is waiting his turn on deck. Of course, Martin is also a former Tiger and Ranger, Mariner, and Indian. So here comes the 2-2 pitch. Sumida checks the runner at second. He delivers. It's a fastball swung on. It almost takes the head of the pitcher off. Rounding third and slamming on the brakes as the ball comes in is the runner Fujiwara, but it's a base hit single for Nakamura. That's his second of the ball game. Fujiwara advances to third, and that's going to bring up the right fielder, Leonis Martin. So really, this is the first sign of trouble that we are witnessing for the left-hander Sumida. Sumida's allowed 2 hits in each of the last 4 innings, 2 in the second, 2 in the third, 2 in the fourth, and now 2 in the fifth. He's been fortunate to be able to wiggle out of the jams, but I wonder how much he's got left in him. So with 1 out, there's runners on the corners. And Leonis Martin is stepping to the plate. This could be an opportunity for the Marines to really blow this one apart. Martin tonight is 0 for 2. His average has slipped to .091 on the season. He's popped to third and he has struck out. I was saying earlier when Jansen Witt was at the plate about the need for import players to produce early. And for Witt, It's important for him to get off to a good start, but the players like Laird and Martin, who've been around for a few years, who've not started off very well, they get a bit of a hall pass because they are proven. There's a fastball that misses down and away, and the count is 1-0 to Leonis Martin. Both of these players have got some history and some pedigree, so they will allow them the time to wiggle their way out of a slow start. So here comes the 1-0 pitch. And there is a fastball swung on and missed. And Leonis Martin wanted to wiggle out of that slow start with one swing of the bat. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Martin batting from the left side against the lefty Samita. He comes set at the belt. He checks the runners and he delivers. It's a breaking ball swung on and grounded foul over on the first base side. The count goes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Nakamura, the runner at first. Fujiwara, the runner at third. Nakamura in this similar situation the last time when Takabe was at third. He stole second base. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. It'll be interesting to see if they've got to have something going here. Comes the 1-2 pitch. Kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is belted into deep right field, right center field. Moving back on it is the center fielder, and that is Suzuki, who makes the grab. That's going to be a sacrifice fly to 8. It's going to be an RBI for Martin as the runner Fujiwara tags and scores from third. And that is going to make the score now 3-0 for the Marines. And that's going to bring up the catcher Toshiya Sato. For Sato tonight, he is 2 for 2. He singled in the third, and he singled and scored a run in the fourth. So Leonis Martin does the job knocking a run in here. Here comes Samita's first pitch to Sato. It's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 1-0. So with the 2 hits tonight, Sato has improved his batting average to .333. He's now 7 for 21 on the season. Nakamura establishes his lead at first base. He's got 1 foot on the turf, and here's the pitch. It is a breaking ball swung on and fouled away, and the count goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. The pace of this game has kind of slowed a little bit. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning with a 3-0 Marines lead. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. It's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is now 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike to Sato. Sato stands in again, waiting on the delivery from Samita, who gets the sign from his catcher Mori. Comes the 2-1 pitch. It's a breaking ball swung on. It is grounded to second. It's fielded neatly by Tanasaki. He throws to first, and that is going to do it here for the Marines in their half of the 5th inning. Goes down as a ground out 4-3 for out number 3, but there was damage in the inning. It's an unearned run. There was 1 run on 1 hit. There was an error and 1 runner left aboard. We're now through 5 complete innings. It is the Chiba Lotte Marines 3, the Saitama Seibu Lions 1. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a moment after this. We'll give you the out-of-town scoreboard in Major League Baseball. Here's our friend Matt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city, San Diego, baby. I'll take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's another Hollis build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Back, everybody. We're going to take a look at the Major League Baseball spring training scoreboard as we have the break in the action here, or the halftime, as we like to call it. The New York Yankees knocked off the Detroit Tigers today 6-2. Chad Green got the win. Foley takes the loss for Detroit. Green was a former Tiger farmhand at one time. He was a draft pick back in the day. The St. Louis Cardinals knocked off the Mets 7-2. Thomas the win, Pena the loss. The Tampa Bay Rays got the win. Yarborough gets these first win of the spring. They beat the Red Sox 9-3. Rich Hill takes the loss. The Pirates and the Blue Jays battled to a 6-6 tie. Philadelphia Phillies dropped one to the Baltimore Orioles 3-2. Lyles got the win. Suarez the loss for Philly. Lakins Sr. gets the save for the Orioles. Minnesota Twins knocked off the Braves today 8-7. It was Smith getting the win for the Twins. Max Fried takes the loss, and Herman picked up the save. Astros knocked off the Marlins 2-1. Garcia got the win for the Astros. Luzardo takes the loss. Kahn got the save. Yet another tie game between the Rangers and the Giants. It was a 7-7 final. Oakland Athletics beat the White Sox 12-4. Aller gets the win for the Athletics. Keuchel takes the loss for the Chi Sox. The Diamondbacks behind Madison Bumgarner got the win as they beat the Cubs in a split squad game 6-0. Hendricks took the loss. Liam Hendricks, that is, for the Cubs. Angels beat the Reds 7-6. Marte gets the win for the Angels. Solomon takes the loss for the Reds. The Brewers beat the other split squad Cubs today 5-3. Perdomo got the win for the Brew Crew. Thompson the loss for the Cubs. Bullock picked up the save. The other three finals, the Guardians beat the D-backs split squad 5-1. Plesac goes to 2-1 on the spring. Gilbert takes the loss. The other two finals, the Padres behind Yu Darvish. He got the win. He beat Hesley of the Royals 4-2. Cops got the save. And then lastly, the Rockies beat the Mariners 2-1. Bard the win. Festa the loss. Well, everybody, we're coming back now for the top of the sixth inning as the right-hander Fataki is still in the ballgame. He is going to be facing the top of the batting order, or the 9-1-2 hitters in the batting order. It's going to be Kishi, Suzuki, and O'Grady. And the first pitch to Junichiro Kishi is a fastball that misses in, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Back to work goes the right-hander Fataki, and it's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Fataki back to work, and there's a fastball swung on. It is going to be lined over the head of the shortstop, Fujioka. It's into left field for a base hit, and Kishi is aboard with his first hit of the ball game. That's his second hit of the year and only 4 trips. One would think that Kishi is probably going to continue to see action while he continues to hit the ball. So Kishi's the runner at first, and Shohei Suzuki comes to the plate. That's the 5th hit of the ball game for the Lions. So here comes the first pitch to Suzuki. It's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike. Count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Suzuki today is 1 for 2. He singled in the first and flew out to left in the third. He bats from the left side against the right-hander Futaki, and here's the pitch. It's a fastball swung on, tap foul over on the first base side. And Futaki is way up now at no balls and 2 strikes. It's not a full house tonight at the ball game. Still a lot of empty seats, but it is good to see that there is baseball being played. We'll take a break in the next half inning, but we'll give the NPB out-of-town scoreboard and after the 6th inning is complete. So here's the 0-2 pitch. It's a fastball down in the dirt. A great block by the catcher Sato. That holds the runner at first base, Kishi. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Suzuki. We look around the scores, and as I said, we're seeing low-scoring games in the Japanese League. And that trend is, as of right now, continuing tonight across the rest of the league. Here's the pitch. It is a fastball swung on, and it is fouled off the fouled off the left side of the head of the batter. So he takes the swing, the ball comes up, and it hits him. So the hitters most hitters at professional level don't wear a double ear flap. He's a left-handed hitter, so the ear flap is on the right side of the head, and the ball came up, and it went straight up and hit him in the earlobe in the left side of his head. There was no ear flap. So we still got 1 ball and 2 strikes, and we're going to do the 1-2 over again. And Futaki throws over to first base, and getting back in time is the base runner. So O'Grady waiting his turn on deck. He's looking his chops to get up to the plate here. Here comes the 1-2 pitch, and it is a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count goes to 2-2. This top part of the order was squandered actually in the first inning. Both Suzuki and O'Grady were aboard with leadoff singles to start the game. And then the 3, 4, and 5 hitters couldn't do anything to bring them around. But they've looked dangerous every time at the plate. Their swings have been pretty good tonight. So here's the 2-2 pitch. It's a fastball swung on. It's grounded to the left side. It's fielded by the shortstop over to second for 1. Not in time for the double play. It's going to be a fielder's choice that's going to erase Kishi at second. The fielder's choice is going to be 6-4 for out number 1, and that's going to put Suzuki over to first. And that's going to bring up the left fielder, Brian O'Grady. For O'Grady tonight, he is 1 for 2. He singled in the first and grounded out to the first baseman his last time up. It was a tough play because the ball was struck well. Nice play by the first baseman, Yamaguchi, to get it over to the pitcher covering. So with 1 out and a runner on first, O'Grady steps in, and here's the pitch. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into center field. It is shallow coming in, and to his left is the center fielder, Fujiwara. And he's going to make the catch. And that is going to retire O'Grady. So he has gone for out number 2, and that's going to bring up Shuta Tanasaki. So Troy asked the question, do they have the DH in this league? And the answer to that is yes, they do. In the Pacific League, they use a DH. In the Central League, they do not. There are 6 teams in the Pacific League. The Saitama Seibu Lions and the Chiba Lotte Marines, who you're listening to tonight. The Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles and the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks, as well as the Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters and the Oryx Buffaloes. So in that division, they use a designated hitter. There's a split finger pitch in the dirt for a ball, and the count is 1-0. But in the Central League, a DH is not used. Interesting piece of trivia. Last year on opening day, I think it was last year, it was 2 years ago on opening day. Check that. 2 years ago on opening day, that the two opening day pitchers, Yuki Nishi for the Hanshin Tigers. There's a fastball that misses down and away, and the count is 2-0. And Daichi Osara for the Hiroshima Carp. Both starting pitchers homered on opening day. It was the first time in the, well, this year it's 150 years, but this time it was the first time at that time in 148 years of baseball that two pitchers had homered on opening day in the same game. There's a breaking ball swung on its tap foul. I should say two starting pitchers. So it's now 2 balls and 1 strike. We are here in the top of the 6th inning. The Lions have the runner at first base, Suzuki. There's 2 away. They've not really threatened since the first inning when Suzuki made it all the way around to third. They haven't had a runner past second base or to second base since then. There's a fastball delivered to Tonosaki, and it misses outside, and the count is now 3-1. Tonosaki today, as we mentioned, this is not one of the games that he will put in his family videos at the end of the season. He struck out twice today, once looking and once swinging. He also booted a ball at second base that led to the unearned run last inning by the Marines. So here's the 3-1 pitch. It's a fastball that misses down and away, and Tonosaki has drawn himself a walk. That is the first free pass delivered by Futaki tonight. That's going to put runners at first and second with 2 away, and that's going to bring up Jansen Witt. It's also going to bring the infield in to have a conversation with their pitcher to relax him and slow him down a bit. So Futaki reaches for the rosin bag and he gets himself relaxed. We're ready to go back to work again. This is, again, his first start of the season. So Witt steps up to the plate. He is 1 for 2 tonight. It's his first career NPB hit. He's 1 for 5 on the season now. But his first out today, he absolutely scorched down the right field line. So he's had 2 pretty good swings tonight. And here's the pitch, and it's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted foul down the right field line. It's going to reach the seats, and the count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike to Witt. Should he find a way on base, it's Tomoya Mori who waits his turn on deck. So the runner at second is Suzuki. The runner at first is Tonosaki. There is 2 out here in the 6th inning. And here comes the 0-1 pitch to Witt. Check the runner at second, and he delivers a breaking ball, does Futaki, outside, and the count is 1-1. Witt last year in the Seattle Mariner organization hit .299 in AAA. As we said at the top of the stream, he started his career with the Boston Red Sox. He was drafted out of Texas Christian University. Never made it to the big leagues. Now he's applying his trade in Japan. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. And it is a breaking ball swung on and fouled away. This is going to reach the seats behind the first base dugout, and the count goes to 1-2. Haven't seen Witt before. This is the first time we've seen him, even though we've done the Lion games in the past. The first glance, you really like the way that he fills out the uniform. He's in good shape. Seems to move well. Sometimes they'll get players that come over to the NPB, or they stay a little longer in the NPB and they don't run as well. They maybe are getting a little bit older. I think of Adam Jones last year, how much his game really fell off. Almost a bit of a shell of his former self, the way he patrolled center field for the Baltimore Orioles. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Futaki gets the assign from His catcher, Sato, he kicks and delivers. It's a split finger pitch, swung on and missed. And Witt is retired on strikes, and that is the third out of the inning. So he gets himself out of a jam. There were no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're moving to the bottom of the sixth inning. It is the Chiba Lotte Marines 3, the Seibu Seibu Lions nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. Here is our friend Steve Rademacher again. He's always entertaining. Check out his channel after the game.
Domo arigato. Sorry if I mispronounced that. I'm new at this. Thank you for watching Last Raps Baseball. Tell all your friends and family to come check him out, ask some questions during the telecast, and give him a good sub and a thumbs up. And this is Steve coming back at you, and some new things on my channel. Star Wars figures that everybody likes. We have Mad magazines from the 1970s. We try to avoid the Noid. And for your pleasure, once in a while, we can open up Michael Jackson if you want, the cards. We have Elvis. We have Sadahar O. We love everything that is everything, so we even have the Beatles fighting with lightsabers. Look at that, John and George. Once in a while, we'll even have my brother take over my channel on a Tuesday. So once again, everybody tell your friends, come see Freddie at Last Raps Baseball. And right now, I'm going to kick it right back to you, Freddie.
Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the bottom of the sixth inning coming up here. It's a 3-0 lead for the Marines, and we are going to have a pitching change for the Seibu Seibu Lions. The young rookie right-hander Chihiro Samida's day is finished, and we'll get you that change in just a moment. But it is looking like it is going to be number 15, and this is Tetsu Miyagawa. So Miyagawa entering the game or leaving the rookie. Not as sharp was Samita as he was in his NPB debut last week, where he went 7 innings of shutout ball. He had to battle a little bit here as he had given up 2 hits in each of the second, third, and fourth innings and 1 in the fifth. So he was not as sharp as he was before, but he was able to manage and limit damage. Left the game after 5 innings, allowing 3 runs, and only 2 of those were earned. So Miyagawa is in to take over for the lefty Samita. The big blow was the 2-run shot by Brandon Laird. So it's Michael Lugar, it looks like. He's listening from Austin, Texas. Appreciate you being here, Michael. And he's a Baltimore Oriole fan for life. Well, I hate to tell you, I don't know if there's a whole lot right now to cheer about in Baltimore, but it's coming quick. That offense that they've been drafting over the last couple of years with Rutschman, with Stowers, with Kauser, with Herstad, help is on the way, Baltimore fans. So here comes the first pitch of the bottom of the 6th inning. It's a fastball delivered for a called strike. Count is 1-1. I can tell you, Brandon Laird was not happy the last time he was up to the plate, as it's Laird, Yamaguchi, and Yasuda here, and Laird was not happy with that first pitch, but the last time he showed his disgust, he deposited a 2-run shot into the left field seats. So maybe he'll be able to do that again. There's a fastball that misses down to the way, and the count is 1-1. Yeah, I think Adley Rutschman is going to be very good. I think that not just Rutschman, but a lot of different stuff. I'm going to get to Troy's question. He says, do you have any cool autographs? So I got them all. Got all kinds of stuff. And I got a Mark Fidrich story as well for you. So here's a breaking ball that is swung on and tapped foul. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Brandon Laird. Laird tonight is 2 for 2. He's got the homer and 2 RBIs as well as a single. When I was a kid, Mark Fidrich, 76 or 77, he won Rookie of the Year. And, of course, you don't see this too much anymore. The Detroit Tigers brought their some of their players over to play the police force in Windsor, Ontario in a basketball game at Kennedy Collegiate Secondary School. So here comes the 1-2 pitch. And there is a split finger pitch swung on and missed, and Laird is retired on strikes for the first out of the inning. One up and one away, and that's going to bring up Koki Yamaguchi. So this story that I'm telling you about the Bird Fidrich, I must have been about 5 or 6 years old at the time, and my father, at halftime, the Detroit Tigers were signing autographs. And so my dad's got this big scrapbook. It's huge, and for me, and I go to get the autograph, and my dad's got it down there. And anyways, what ends up happening is he we put it there for Fidrich to sign, and Fidrich signs it. And my dad wasn't really paying attention, and then Fidrich signed it again, and then he signed it again. So he signed this scrapbook 3 times. There's a fastball delivered to Yamaguchi, and it swung on and fouled away, and the count is 0-1. So I still have the scrapbook, and I've got 3 Mark Fidrich autographs. So that was kind of cool. Unfortunately for Mark Fidrich, he passed away far too soon, as he passed away in an accident. There's a breaking ball that misses down and away. He was doing some work on his truck in his garage, and the vehicle collapsed off of the, whatever you call it, the what keep it up in the air, and it ended up crushing him. So 1 ball and 1 strike. And here's the pitch. It is swung on. It is tapped over to the shortstop. It's fielded neatly by the shortstop, Genda. He throws to first. And we're going to have to get this one reviewed, because it looks like that it has come off the bag, and they may have something to look at here. The umpires are going to have a look at this. Genda fields the ball. He came across to do it, and it looked like that Nin Wu wasn't able to hold the bag. So we're going to have a look to see if this is going to be a reverse call or not. So ground ball to short. Genda gets it. He takes his steps. He throws to first. And you got to tip your hat to the batter runner, Yamaguchi, who really got down the line. Genda needed to get rid of it a little quicker. I think when they go up and have a look at this call might get overturned. And it looks like Wu has held the bag, so I think this one may get overturned. We're watching it again on the slow motion replay. We'll see what the umpires come back and decide. So Michael asked the question. He says, how are you streaming the game? I was trying to find a live stream and ran into your commentary. So if you scroll up in the chat, our friend Nash, who was in here earlier, gave some ways in which to be able to do this. I don't have a link, but he had mentioned, I think there's something called QQ or Reddit, and one of the other fellows was able to find it. And Ben Flynn is asking a similar question about the Fighters game. That's what you folks would probably have to do. Troy's got it there. Live QQ website works. So I can't give you a whole lot of help from that. And the call has been reversed. Yamaguchi is going to be afforded a base hit single. So originally they called him out, and now he is safe. But now we're going to get a pinch runner here for Yamaguchi. So his night is done. He's done his job. He's got on base here. So usually what happens, Michael, is sometimes guys will come in and they will get the game in Japanese, and they'll come back and they'll sync it to the play-by-play that we give. So you're welcome to do that as well. So that's going to bring up the third baseman, Hisanori Yasuda. Yasuda tonight is 0 for 2. He has struck out both his times to the plate. So Yasuda digs in from the left side, facing the right-hander Miyagawa. And they kick and deliver. There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is quickly 0-1. We'll be back on the stream again tomorrow night, the same 2 teams. The reason we're doing this game tonight is originally we had planned the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks and the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles. It was announced earlier today that the Golden Eagles had 7 players and 1 coach test positive for the coronavirus. Here's the 0-1 pitch. And there's a fastball that misses outside, and the count is 1-1. So that game has been postponed today and for tomorrow. So we'll do these same two teams again tomorrow night. We had to make a rash change about an hour beforehand. Ben says the site is all in Japanese. You should be able to use Google to translate it over. It takes a little bit of work, but you'll be able to get it done. And there's a breaking ball. It is in the dirt. There goes the runner to second, and it is going to be a stolen base for the Chiba Lotte Marines, and that allows us to be able to get to see who the runner is, as it is a pinch runner. That is Kashiro Wada, who's in the game. Kashiro Wada came in to pinch run for Yamaguchi. And sometimes that's a sign that he may go into center field because Yamaguchi was playing first. So they may make some defensive changes. So Wada takes the bag at second base. And the count now on Yasuda is 2 balls and 1 strike. Miyagawa holds at the belt. He kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on. It is lifted foul over on the third base side. The count goes to 2-2. Yeah, Troy's given some good information there. Look for the baseball thumbnail or the button that says click the English, and there you go. So most of the listeners are, if they're from the United States, as we said the other night, that last year it was DAZN that used to carry some of the games, but some of our listeners have been in here saying that DAZN's not carrying anything this year, and there's a breaking ball swung on. It's tap foul over on the first base side, and that keeps the count at 2-2. It's unfortunate to hear that DAZN isn't carrying it. It's even more unfortunate as I turned on my TV tonight and I saw there was some Aussie rules football being played, and then it was women's Aussie rules football, and I couldn't have been more disgusted. I have absolutely zero interest in watching women's Aussie rules football. I get an entertainment watching the guys play, but not watching the women play Aussie rules football. There's a fastball that is swung on and missed. And Yasuda is retired for the 3rd time tonight via the strikeout. That's the 2nd out of the inning, and it's going to bring up the shortstop, Yudai Fujioka. I don't want to dig myself a hole here, but I'm going to watch Aussie rules football. I want to see the game at full speed. And we'll leave it at that. So Fujioka steps to the plate. He is 0 for 2 tonight. He is flown out to left field, and he's grounded to second. So right-hander against the left-hander. Miyagawa holds set at the belt. He checks the runner at second, and he delivers, and that ball is in the dirt. And it's stopped by the catcher Mori. He keeps it in front. The count is 1-0. Fujioka is now 2 for 15 on the season. He's batting .133 here in the early going. So Fujioka waits. Wada is the runner at second. There is 2 away here in the 6th inning. Miyagawa holds set at the belt, and he kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count goes to 1-1. It's been a fairly festive audience tonight, now that the game is getting a little deeper. Not as festive as the ones during the week. During the week was absolutely crazy in here. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Fujioka. Miyagawa kicks and delivers. It's a split finger pitch down in the dirt, and the count is 2-1. So Troy, if you're listening in here, you might want to give Michael a little bit of a hand there. As I have to admit that I don't use that site particularly. As I say, I don't want to get myself into trouble by publicly doing it. If people are mentioning stuff in the chat, I'll echo that to give you guidance. So it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Miyagawa delivers. It's a fastball swung on. It's ripped to first base. A beautiful play by Nin-Ting Wu, who was guarding the line, and Fujioka is out for the 3rd out. That goes as a ground out to 3 for out number 3. So for the Chiba Lotte Marines in their half of the sixth inning, no runs, one hit, no error, and check that, one runner left the board. We are now through 6 complete innings. It is the Chiba Lotte Marines 3, the Seibu Lions nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments with the call of the top of the 7th inning. Here's our friend Matt again. Be sure to check out Matt Hollis after the game. He's a friend of ours and a friend of our channel. We love Matt quite a bit. He's a good guy.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city. San Diego, baby. I'll take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's Another Hollis Build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Appreciate you, Matt. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving to the 7th inning, and there are going to be some changes here defensively. We see Edney Hechavarria has made his way into the game for the Marines. The right-hander Fataki is still on the mound. He's at 89 pitches through 6 innings. Hechavarria has gone into third. But as I said, we will have to get you some of those updates in just a couple moments. So here we go back to the live action. And here's the pitch. It is a fastball swung on. It's grounded to short on the first pitch. Fujioka fields it over to first. And Tomoya Mori, who led off the inning here, is gone on one pitch. It's a ground out 6-3 for out number 1. So 1 up and 1 away, and that's going to bring up Sasuke Genda. For Genda tonight, he is 1 for 2. He singled in the 2nd and flew up to center in the 5th. Michael says he's not sure. Yeah, you get a chance to play with it a little bit there, Michael. I know it's not smooth. I know when I play around with some of the websites, you'll get a chance to be able to see it. There's a breaking ball that's taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Genda is hitting .304 on the young season. And here's the pitch. It's a fastball swung on. It is tapped slowly to short, fielded by Fujioka, who throws it on the run off 1 foot, and that is the 2nd out of the inning. Goes his ground out 6-3, 2 up and 2 away, and that's going to leave it up to the DH Takumi Kuriyama. DJ Drake in the house tonight gives you some advice there as well. Giving you the Japanese script so you get a little bit of stuff to look at. So Kuriyama steps to the plate. He is 0 for 2 tonight. He's grounded into a double play and also grounded out in the 5th inning. And the first pitch is a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 0-1. Curious to see if the Marines will ride their young right-hander into another inning here. He's at 93 pitches. So here's the pitch. It is a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is now 0-2. Appreciate everybody dropping by again tonight. Those that have stopped in, we do appreciate you. There's the 0-2 pitch, and there's a fastball taken for a called third strike. I'm not sure what Kuriyama was looking for. He stood there like the house by the side of the road and watched it go by for out number 3 here in the 7th inning. So for the Lions, in their half of the 7th, there was no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We are now moving to the bottom of the 7th inning. I'm going to give you a quick little out-of-town scoreboard update in the NPB when we return. But here's another one of our Hall of Fame memories. Welcome back, everybody. We'll do a quick peek at the out-of-town scoreboard. The Oryx Buffaloes are leading the Hokkaido Nippon-ham Fighters. It's 2-0. That game there is in the bottom of the seventh. The interesting part for me is the pitcher, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who is going tonight for the Buffaloes. He is up to 108 pitches through 7. He's walked 1 and struck out 8 in those innings. He is the power arm and arguably the biggest young star in the NPB, in my opinion anyway, at least pitching-wise. The game here, obviously, that we're calling is 3-0 for Chiba. The game between Fukuoka and Tohoku was postponed. The Tohoku Rocket Golden Eagles have had an outbreak of COVID with 7 players and a coach testing positive. And so that is where that stands. The Central League games today are still currently underway. They've got the Hanshin Tigers are trailing the Yomiuri Giants 5-3. That's in the bottom of the 6th inning. In the top of the 7th, the Tokyo Yakult Swallows have a 2-1 lead over the Yokohama Dana Bay Stars. And the top of the 9th inning, Hiroshima and Chinichi are all knotted up at 2. Chinichi won that game last night. They're trying to do 2 in a row against the Carp, after the Carp started the season perfect through 6. We do have a pitching change for the Seibu Lions. They're bringing in another right-hander. The right-hander is going to be Ren Omagari. So Ren is coming into the game, taking over. He'll be the 3rd pitcher used by the Lions tonight. So Ren Omagari into the ball game. He'll be ready to get this one back underway. And who is he going to face? Well, for the Marines, they're going to be setting up the top of the order. It's going to be Akido Takabe, Kiona Fujiwara, and Shogo Nakamura. That is what we're going to witness here. So here comes the first pitch to Takabe. It's a fastball swung on and missed. The count is quickly 0-1. So we are in the bottom half of the 7th inning. I'll have to make that update in our ticker across the way. Michael, appreciate you being here. There's a fastball swung on, and this is lifted foul down the 3rd baseline. And the count is 0-2. Takabe tonight is 1 for 3. He grounded to second in the 1st. He singled in the 3rd and grounded out to the first baseman in the 5th. So here comes the 0-2 pitch. It's a fastball that just misses upstairs. The count goes to 1-2. One thing I do notice about the Japanese pitchers is that when they get to the bullpen, the relievers have a tendency to work slower than the starters, but Omagari is going right to work. There's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Omagari gets the sign from his catcher, Mori. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. It's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count goes to 3-2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. For those of you who were in here the other night, we had a mishap in the bottom of the 9th inning in a 3-1 ball game. Our entire internet went down with the last pitch of the ball game. And there is a base on balls to Takabe as that last pitch was down and away. And he is aboard with a leadoff walk here, and that's going to bring up Kyoto Fujiwara. It's only if I'm not mistaken, the 2nd time tonight that a walk has been issued to a Marine player. Just looking through my notes, and I don't see that there was another walk tonight to a Marine player. I think all of the pitchers so far for the the Seibu. Fujiwara did stunt in his traditionally bunting situation. The runner Takabe is at first. Fujiwara is the batter. Fujiwara is 0 for 3 tonight. He did reach on an error the last time up and stole a base and scored a run. There's a fastball that misses off the outside corner, and the count goes to 2-0. And the catcher, Mori, has seen enough as he's asked for time, and he's going to talk to his right-hander, give him some confidence and a pat on the back. That walk by Omagari was the first one issued by the Lions tonight. The last inning was the first issued, or 2 innings ago, was the first issued walk by Futaki. So both of the pitchers have been around all the pitchers have been around the zone tonight for both teams. Flipping it over to first base is the pitcher Omagari, and getting back in time is Fujiwara. Is Takabe. Fujiwara here squaring to bunt, and it's a fastball that misses inside, and the count goes to 3-0. So we saw this the other night. 3 balls and no strikes on the hitter. I think in this situation, I'm taking the pitch. We saw a 3-0 bunt the other night. Now, granted, the job was done, but at 3-0, I'm curious to see if he's just going to take this pitch. Why give up yourself in a sacrifice at 3-0 if he's going to throw ball 4? So here's the 3-0 pitch, and it is a fastball that almost hits Fujiwara, and he is aboard with a walk. So back-to-back walks to start the 7th inning, and that is going to bring up the second baseman, Shogo Nakamura. For Nakamura, he is just starting to heat up, and that is bad news for everybody else, for all opposing pitchers. Nakamura is 2 for 3 now tonight. He stole a base, and he is struck out. The corners are in. They're anticipating, even here in this situation, that he could be bunting. Nakamura's got his average up to 296 on the season. He shows no sign to bunt. There's a breaking ball in the dirt. Off to third goes the base runner, and he is going to be a dead duck as Takabe is thrown out trying to take third. It was the right read. The ball was in the dirt. It was a fantastic block by the catcher, Mori. He comes up throwing, and he nails the base runner at third. What I'd like to see is, and we don't see the play yet, did the base runner go from first to second? Because if the runner at first didn't go to second, that would have been bonehead, but no. The runner, Fujiwara, is over at second base, so he's going to get the stolen base. There's a fastball that misses outside to Nakamura. It's 2 balls and no strikes. So by my count, that is 7 pitches in a row now for balls by the young right-hander. There's a fastball that catches the outside corner, and the count is now 2-1. Not so sure about that one, nor is Nakamura. Nakamura kind of shook his head a little bit, especially after 7 balls in a row. You're going to give him a borderline pitch. I don't know if I'd be very happy. So here comes the 2-1 pitch. There's a fastball in pretty much the same spot that just misses outside. And the count now goes to 3-1 to Nakamura. So 3 balls and 1 strike. So here comes the pitch. It is a fastball delivered on the outside corner, and the count now goes to 3-2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes to Nakamura. Just as a reminder, if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button because we'd love to have you come back again. We're going to be back on the airwaves again tomorrow night with these same 2 teams. So here comes the 3-2 pitch. It is a breaking ball that misses outside. And Nakamura has drawn himself a walk. So 3 consecutive batters in this inning have drawn walks. That's going to bring up the right fielder, Leonis Martin. And that's also going to bring a visit from the pitching coach out on the mound. Our friend Josh was in here earlier, was asking stuff about, what's different between the NPB and Major League Baseball. Well, the pitching coaches will go out to the mound and they will actually get the ball from the pitcher, the manager will just walk over to the umpire and let them know the change. That's certainly different. Normally, the manager will come out to the mound and take the ball from the pitcher in the big leagues. So it's just another nuance of the game that's a little bit different. I told the audience the other night when I coached over in Europe, usually the base ump would come out and break up the conference on the mound. And I know when I was coaching that I wasn't very happy with the home plate umpire. And the first time I went out to the mound to talk to one of my pitchers, I was hoping that the plate umpire would come out and break it up. And I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. And then the base umpire comes over and breaks it up. And, what are you doing over here? I don't want to talk to you. There's a fastball to Leonis Martin, and that misses inside for ball one. Count is 1-0. So the beat continues here with the theme of balls to the hitters. So 1 ball and no strikes. One would think that the Lions bullpen is on high alert. Here's the 1-0, and it's a fastball swung on, and it is lifted foul over on the third base side. The count goes to 1-1. So 18 pitches so far in the inning for the young right-hander Omagari, and 13 of them have been for balls. That is not a recipe for success. So here comes the 1-1 pitch to Leonis Martin, and it is a fastball that misses upstairs. And the count is now 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. I have to apologize. I'm a little slow on my banner tonight. We are in the bottom of the 7th inning. Make that adjustment for those who are popping in to have a look. Here's the 2-1 pitch. It's a fastball swung on and missed. It's now 2 balls and 2 strikes to Martin. Martin coming to the plate tonight is 0 for 2. He did have an RBI sac fly his last time up. So here comes the 2-2 pitch. And there's a fastball swung on. This ball is hit through the 4-hole into right field. Here comes the throw to the plate. It is cut off by Wu, and that is going to load the bases. Leonis Martin absolutely scorched that through the 4-hole. The base runner Fujiwara stops at third. The runner at first, Nakamura, stops at second. And that's going to bring up Toshiya Sato. Now, I'd have to think that if that ball wasn't hit as hard, if it was a seeing eye single, they probably score the run from second. But because the ball was absolutely scorched, it got to the right fielder Kishi in a big hurry. And that had to freeze the runner coming around third. So that brings up the catcher Toshiya Sato. Sato is 2 for 3 tonight. And the first pitch is a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is 1-0. This is an opportunity right now for the Marines to blow this game apart. It's 3-0 Chiba here in the bottom of the 7th inning. The way the Lions offense has looked, it doesn't look like they're serious about scoring runs. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away. The count goes even to 1-1. Sato is a left-handed stick. He's facing the right-hander Omagari. Every batter Omagari has faced has reached base. He was fortunate by the caught stealing, and there's a fastball that misses up and away, and the count is 2-1. It's the 24th pitch of the inning. One would have to think, why have they not already made the change? They need to keep this game close if they've got to have a chance. As I said, even this 3-run lead may be insurmountable. The Lions have not swung the bat particularly well tonight. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep right center field. Moving back onto the warning track is the center fielder, Suzuki. He's going to make the catch. The runner at third, Fujiwara, tags. He's going to score. Also tagging up is Nakamura. He moves to third on the sacrifice fly by Sato, and the score is now 4-0 for Chiba. That's going to bring up the designated hitter, Brandon Laird. For Laird tonight, he is 2 for 3. He singled in the second inning. He homered in the fourth, knocked in a couple of runs, and he struck out in the sixth. So with 2 out, he's got an opportunity to blow this apart. And we do have a runner now at first base for Leonis Martin. It is Hiromi Oka has come into the game. So Oka is in the ball game for Martin. And here comes the first pitch. It is a fastball that misses off the outside corner, and the count goes to 1-0. So 1-0 to Brandon Laird. That's the 26th pitch of the inning for Gammy. So one would have to ask the manager what the rationale for leaving him in the game has been. It's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 1-1. I have to go back and look to see at the bullpen for the Lions, how it's been used. So 1 ball and 1 strike. And there is a breaking ball. Off to second goes the runner. It is thrown, and it is into center field. And trotting home from third is going to be Nakamura. Oka has himself a stolen base. He'll stay at second. As he slid in, the ball was deflected off. Nakamura scores the 5th run of the ball game. That last pitch to Laird, the umpire didn't show anything. It looked like it was a ball, so it's probably going to be 2-1. You never know sometimes. It might have been a late decision, but it is 2 balls and 1 strike. So there's a crooked number on the board now in the 7th inning for the Marines. So here comes the 2-1 pitch. That's a fastball swung on. This ball is lined into right center field. It's going to get down in front of the right fielder, Kishi. That's going to cash in another run as Oka crosses the plate. So Laird has himself an RBI single with his 3rd hit of the ball game. And to go with his 3rd RBI of the game. That's now the 3rd run of the inning while we're keeping things in 3s. And that improves the score now to 6-0 for Chiba. Well, as I said, I'd like to see what they have available in their bullpens. Obviously, you're not going to put out one of your better guys in that type of situation when you are down. This brings up Edney Hechavarria to the plate. This is his first at bat tonight, and the first pitch is swung on and fouled away. Hechavarria on the season is 2 for 9. He's got a homer and an RBI. Hechavarria batting from the right side against the right-hander Omagari. And there's the pitch. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is going to get down into right field. And it's going to land in front of Kishi. And that's a base hit for Hechavarria. So the band keeps playing here in the 7th inning. Literally and figuratively. It's slated to bring up the spot, the batting order that was once occupied by Hisanori Yasuda. But Yasuda is, and that is still Yasuda as he's moved over to first base because the 3rd baseman now is Hechavarria. So runners at first and second, 2 out. Omagari ready to go back to work. And there's a fastball. This ball is swung on. This ball is lifted into center field. Ball is going to get down in front of the center fielder, Suzuki. Here comes the throw to the plate. It is over the head of the catcher into the backstop. That is another run, and everybody's going to move up on the throwing error by the center fielder. That's going to be a single by Yasuda. He gets himself an RBI. And then, of course, he moves up on the error by the center fielder. And this inning has gone from bad to worse to comical for the Seibu Lions. That is the 4th run of the inning, and that's going to bring up the shortstop, Yudai Fujioka. But before that happens, we have a trip to the mound, as finally they have seen enough of this young right-hander. So hang tight, everybody. Stick around. We'll be back in a few minutes. After this, we're going to just take a little time out, get ourselves a drink. We'll carry on in a moment. Here's one of our Did You Knows. Welcome back, everybody. We are still here in the bottom of the seventh inning. Runners are at second and third, and there is a pitching change for Chiba. That was one ugly-looking event there, and we'll have to get you the update on this one. We have a new arm in the game. He is not on our roster sheet. So sometimes that must mean that it is a different one. This is Tagami who's into the game. This is Ken Tagami. I'm not sure why they didn't come out and rescue the last pitcher, Amagari, earlier. He was all around the zone and never in the zone. Walked the first three batters he faced. He gave up a single, then there was a sac fly, and then there was another base hit. So of the 8 batters he faced, all but one reached base, and that was the sac fly by Sato. He did get the caught stealing when Takabe got thrown out at third, but he was only able to actually get one batter out, but he did get some help of the defense to get the second. So that brings up Yudai Fujioka. So Ken Tagami into the ball game. And the first pitch to Fujioka is a fastball that misses down, and the count is 1-0. Fujioka tonight is 0 for 3. He's flown to left and grounded to second and grounded to first. So here comes the pitch. It is a fastball, and that misses down. And the count is now 2-0. My opinion, the weakness of the Lions last year was their bullpen. And currently, it is on full display right here. Here's the 2-0 pitch, and that's a fastball that misses down. And the count now runs to 3-0. I wonder if you give Fujioka green light here at 3-0. He's not off to a great start this season. But maybe a green light up 3-0. Let's see what happens here in this situation. Here comes the 3-0 pitch. There's a fastball that misses down, and so the change the pitcher, but the results are still the same. That is the 4th walk of the inning, and that's going to bring the top of the batting order back up again. This is Akito Takabe. Takabe got this thing rolling with a leadoff walk, which seemed like forever ago. So Tagami ready to go back to work. And here comes the pitch. It is a breaking ball that misses down, but it's all the way to the backstop. And in to score is Hechavarria. That will be the 8th run of the ball game. Hechavarria scores. Yasuda goes to third on the wild pitch. Fujioka goes to second. That's going to make the score 8-0. Whew. So the start by Samita, which was not the classic that he had in his NPB debut, but is still a decent start, not quite a quality start. Now it has just been blown apart, and there's a fastball taken for a called strike. And the count goes even to 1-1 on Takabe. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Takabe tonight is 1 for 3 and a walk, and there's a fastball swung on and fouled away. Count goes to 1-2. For those of you who are still with us, we do appreciate you being here. A little bit of a challenge sometimes when you get into the situation. This game here had no business being blown apart like it was in this inning. As I said, you'd have to ask the manager what his thought process was on leaving the reliever in for as long as he did. There is a fastball that is swung on and missed. And Takabe is retired on strikes. And that is going to mercifully do it here in the 7th inning for the Chiba Lotte Marines. So the Marines in their half of the 7th, they had 5 runs in the inning on the benefit of 4 hits. There was 1 error on the center fielder, and there was 2 runners left aboard. We are now through 7. It is the Chiba Lotte Marines 8. Seibu Lions is nothing. Stick around, everybody. We got a little bit more action still to bring you. We're glad you're here. Welcome back, everybody. It is Kota Futaki. Went 7 innings tonight for the Marines, but his day is going to be over. They are going to have a pitching change for Chiba. We'll get you that in just a moment. But it looks like it is going to be number 29, Yuji Nishino. So Yuji Nishino coming in to take over for the starter Futaki. Futaki had a rocky first inning, but boy, did he ever settle down. He came in and he only, after the first inning where he allowed the first 2 hitters of the game to get base hits, he only allowed 2 hits the rest of the way. He was absolutely brilliant. He only walked 1. And by my scorecard, we've got him for 4 strikeouts. I'll have to double check on that one. But Yuji Nishino into the ball game. And he is going to be taking over here in the top of the 8th inning. So Nishino in to get some work. And we're about ready to resume action here in a moment. It is supposed to be Nintingwu Junichiro Kishi, or Junichiro Kishi, and Shohei Suzuki. So that's the 8-9-1 hitters in the Lions batting order. Just taking a quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard again. Any other updates? It is now 7-0 for the Oryx Buffaloes over the Hokkaido Nippon-ham Fighters. That game's in the bottom of the 8th. Of course, the game here is 8-0. The Murray Giants have a 5-3 lead in the top of the 8th over the Tigers. Yokohama has tied the game up against the Swallows. It's now 2-2 in the bottom of the 8th. In the top of the 10th, Nagoya Dome, it is Hiroshima and Chinichi tied at 2. So here we go, everybody, back to the live action. And the first pitch is a fastball from Nishino up high for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. For Wu tonight, he is officially 0 for 2. He's flown out to left and grounded to short. There's the 1-0 pitch. It's a fastball swung on and fouled away. And the count goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. It'll be Wu, Kishi, and Suzuki here to face the right-hander, and there's a fastball, and Wu swings through that, and the count goes to 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. Nishino ready to go back to work. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball. The appeal down to the third base umpire. They say he didn't go. He didn't go because he didn't lift the bat off his shoulder. I think the catcher, Sato, wanted that pitch. He sure didn't get it. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. And here's the pitch. It's a fastball swung on. It is lifted foul. It's going to reach the seats over on the third base side. It's going to make the count. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes to Wu. Nishino working from the stretch with nobody on. He holds at the chest. He kicks and delivers. There's a fastball that misses low, and the count now goes to 3-2. Sato didn't like that pitch. You can tell when the catcher isn't happy with the pitch. That pitch looked pretty good. Even the way he received it wasn't all that bad. It was right at the knees. So 3 balls and 2 strikes it is, especially in an 8-0 ball game. That pitch has got to be called. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 3-2. I mean, the Lions are down by 8. You're the plate umpire. That pitch is a borderline call. I guess he really enjoys wanting to be out there. He wants to be around for another few more innings. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Here comes the pitch from Nishino. It is a fastball, and that misses low. And that is ball 4 to Wu. So he's aboard with a leadoff walk here in the 8th inning. And the pitcher, by his reaction, he's not very happy either. That's one thing I will say is you don't see from the Japanese players a lot of verbal dialogue to the umpires, but their body language, the way that they do things, that speaks volumes. Although I did see a player the other day get thrown out for drawing a line in the sand. So here comes Junichiro Kishi to the plate, and there's a split finger pitch that misses down. The count's 1-0. For Kishi, he is 1 for 2 tonight. He is now 2 for 4 on the season. So he came up and made that throw in the last inning that held the runner at third base. So here comes the 1-0, and there's a fastball swung on, and it is lifted foul down the left field line. The count is now even at 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Junichiro Kishi. We are yet to get the attendance on tonight's game. We'll try to check in on that. As we said, it's not a full house by any means. And there is the 1-1 pitch. It's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike. The count now goes to 1-2. The official attendance for tonight's game is 22,696. There are a lot of empty seats. So here comes the 1-2 pitch, and it is a breaking ball that misses outside. They appeal down to the first base umpire, but the first base umpire said that Kishi didn't go. We got ourselves a look at that one and say Kishi's fortunate. Well, maybe they want a few more hot dog sales. I'm not sure. So here comes the 2-2 pitch. That's a fastball swung on. This ball is grounded through the 6 hole into left field past a diving Hechavarria. And now the Lions bats are starting to wake up. That's the second hit of the game by Kishi. That advances Wu over to second, and that's going to bring the top of the order, Shohei Suzuki, to the plate. So maybe the Lions are not dead yet. One would think an 8-run lead is pretty much insurmountable. But stranger things have happened. So here we go. Here comes the leadoff hitter, Suzuki, who is 1 for 3 tonight. He's singled back in the first inning. He's flown out to left, and he's bounced into a fielder's choice. And here comes the pitch. It's a breaking ball that's taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. One would have to think he's got to get that pitch. Pitch looked a little bit high to me, but the umpire's got to give him something. Either you got to give him something up in the zone, or you got to give him something at the knees. So no balls and 1 strike. Nishino delivers. It's a fastball off the outside corner, and the count goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. So 1 ball and 1 strike. And here comes the pitch. It is a fastball swung on. It's grounded foul just past the first base bag. The count now goes to 1-2 to Suzuki. In some ways, you got a feel for Nishino. He's made some good pitches. He just hasn't got a couple of the calls. And as I say, in an 8-0 ball game, you got to be thinking, look, I don't want anything to happen, especially, we want to get out of there without any injuries, without any other stuff. If you're the plate umpire, it's an 8-run spread. We got to be able to manage this game a little better. So here we go. Here's the pitch. It's a split finger pitch down in the dirt. Nice block by the catcher Sato, and the count goes now to 2-2. So here comes the 2-2 pitch. Holding at the chest is the pitcher Nishino. He delivers. It's a split finger pitch that's swung on. It's lifted into the shallow left field. Moving in on it and making the grab is the left fielder Takabe. That is going to retire Suzuki for the first out of the inning. That's going to bring up the left fielder Brian O'Grady. For O'Grady tonight, he is 1 for 3. He singled back in the first inning. He's grounded to first, and he's flown to center. He's raised his average to 321 on the year. He began the game at 320. So here comes the pitch from Nishino. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is belted into deep right center field. Moving over is the right fielder who makes the grab, and he fires it in. That looks like it was Hiromi Oka, who took over for Leonis Martin. So O'Grady is on the fly ball to right field. The runner at second, Wu, has tagged and moved to third. And that's the second out of the inning, and that's going to leave it up to Shuda Tonosaki. For Tonosaki tonight, he is officially 0 for 2. He struck out his first 2 times up. And then he walked the third time up. So he steps in, ready to battle the right-hander Nishino. The first baseman, Yasuda, is off of the bag with the base runner, but he's playing in front of him. There is a breaking ball that misses upstairs, and the count is 1-0. We do have a pinch hitter here for Tonosaki. Get you that in just a moment. This is number 52 in the ball game. This is Haruka Yamada. He pitched to Yamada as a fastball swung on. It is grounded past the diving third baseman into left field, and the Lions are not dead yet. They've got themselves a run. So there's a base hit single for Yamada. He celebrates at first base like he just won the lottery. So Haruka Yamada, on the first pitch he swings, slams a base hit into left field. That's going to bring up the third baseman, Jansen Witt. So for Witt tonight, he is 1 for 3. He singled. Zero Fox Sports in the house says, never give up, never surrender. A one swing of the bat, and they cut the lead in half. So here's the pitch. It's a fastball swung on and fouled away just behind home plate. And the count is 1-1. For Witt, he is 1 for 3 tonight. He flew up in the first inning to right field. He singled in the fourth and struck out in the sixth inning. So 8-1 is the scoreline here in the top of the eighth inning. There's 2 away, and here's the 0-1 pitch. It's a breaking ball that catches the outside corner, and the count is 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. Witt digs in. He's ready to face the offering coming from Nishino. One would think he's going to get a steady diet of breaking balls from here on out. And here comes the pitch. It is a split finger pitch that swung on and missed. The ball gets away from the catcher, Sato. He picks it up and he throws to first. It's going to be a strikeout, retired 2-3 for the third out of the inning. But for the Saitama Seibu Lions in their half of the eighth, they got a run. They got 1 hit. Check that, 2 hits. No errors and 2 runners left aboard. We are now through 7.5 innings. It is the Chiba Lotte Marines 8, the Saitama Seibu Lions 1. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back in just a minute. If you took the over tonight, you probably were a winner. We'll be right back, everybody. Here's our friend Steve Rademacher again.
Hey guys, and thank you, Freddie. Steve coming back at you. That's right, Steve Rademacher. I would like to thank each and every one of you that is tuned into my channel. And today, let's do a little shout out for some other great channels you should be watching. There is WVogs 18. There's Big D's Sports and Collectibles. You all know another Hollis build. Why not Like Father, Like Son? That's a great duo that does some great stuff. It shows some great cards. And of course, the one and only Bud Stoney, creators of One of Ones. The creator of One of Ones, and they're all signed on the back. Bud Stoney, 1 of 1, like this beautiful Robin Yount that he made for me. He made me another Robin Yount, this time mini, and a Christian Yelich mini. Great cards, and he does more than cards. We have darts of Hulk Hogan and many other things. So give them a look-see and give me another look-see. Subscribers are always welcome, and back to Freddie.
Appreciate you, Steve, and your support of our channel. We do have a pitching change for the Saitama Seibu Lions, and we'll get you that as it is available here. This is number 42. This is Bo Takahashi coming into the ball game. So he is going to be the 5th pitcher used tonight. And on the back of his jersey, he just goes with Bo Takahashi into the ball game here for the Lions. Takahashi tonight entering the fray is going to be facing the 2, 3, and 4 hitters in the Marine batting order. That means it's going to be Fujiwara, Nakamura, and Oka slated to face him. And the first pitch is a fastball that misses upstairs for ball 1. Fujiwara is 2 for 9 on the season. He's officially 0 for 3 tonight. There's a fastball that misses outside, and the count is 2-0. The only Bo I can think of is Bo Jackson. But this Bo maybe knows his baseball too. There are defensive changes for the Lions. We'll get you those when they come to bat here. It's moving a little quicker for our liking. There's a fastball that misses in, and the count's now 3-0. So throwing strikes from the 7th inning on has become a major problem for the Saitama Seibu Lions. And here's the 3-0 pitch, and it's a fastball that misses up and away for ball 4, and that is the second time Fujiwara has reached base on the walk. It's painful when pitchers come in and are walking the yard consistently. Very, 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 very painful. That in the ball game now is my books, it's the 5th free pass allowed tonight by the Lions. Chiba have only walked 2 batters. There's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is 1-0 to Shogo Nakamura. So this is one of those situations that you just got to put the bat on your shoulder until this right-hander throws a strike. So 1 ball and no strikes. We did a game in the exhibition season. The Hanshin Tigers were playing the Osaka or the Oryx Buffaloes, and there's a fastball that comes up and in and hits Nakamura. And so far he's thrown 6 pitches and nothing has been near the plate. Nakamura looked highly unimpressed as he makes his way to first base, and that's going to bring up Hiromi Oka. And the pitching coach is on a sprint to the mound as he's coming out to see his young right-hander who's yet to throw a strike. So 6 pitches and nothing for strikes. Nakamura just caught that one just below the left shoulder blade. The conference on the mound continues. It's kind of funny because the substitute Yamada, who's in the game, was giving the pitcher a back rub while he was there. So it's like he's having some good times out there, Yamada. So here comes Oka to the plate. He is 2 for 17 to start the season. Here comes the first pitch, and it is a breaking ball that misses down. That's the first time we've seen a breaking ball tonight from Takahashi. That's not working either. So the fastballs aren't working. The breaking balls aren't working. What do we got next? So here comes the 1-0 pitch. There's a fastball, and that is taken for a called strike, and now the count goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. And there is a breaking ball delivered to Oka, and it's taken for a called strike, and the count's 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Hiromi Oka. We're here in the 8th inning. It's the bottom half of the 8th. The Marines have a healthy 8-1 lead right now. The runners are at first and second with nobody out, and here comes the pitch to Oka. It's a fastball swung on. It is lifted into right field. Moving back on it is the right fielder, and he continues to back up on it, and he makes the catch. That is Kishi who has it, and both the runners have tagged up. That's a good piece of base running there by the base runner Nakamura at first base. That ball was struck well, and both of the runners move up on the catch. That's going to bring up the catcher Toshiya Sato. For Sato tonight, he is 2 for 3. He's also had a sacrifice fly and an RBI. So the runners are at second and third with 1 out. Sato steps to the plate, and here comes the first pitch from Takahashi. It's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Junichiro Kishi there made a bit of a meal of that play. It looked like he almost started in, and then he had to race back on the ball. The wind is not really blowing that heavy. There's a breaking ball that misses up, and the count now goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. As we mentioned, we appreciate you, all of you who are sticking it out with us here tonight. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. And Takahashi delivers. It's a breaking ball swung on, and it is lined right to the first baseman, Wu, who was guarding the line. That's the second time that Wu has been practically standing on the line, and he is recorded an out. That's the second out of the inning, and that's going to bring up scheduled to bring up the designated hitter, Brandon Laird, but instead we're going to see a pinch hitter. As Brandon Laird's night is done, he was a major part of the offense tonight with 3 hits and 3 RBIs, and including a 2-run homer. So this is Tsuyoshi Sagano, who's 1 for 1 on the season. The first pitch to Sagano is a fastball that misses off the outside corner. Count is 1-0. So here comes the 1-0 pitch. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses down, and the count is now 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. Just as a reminder, after the game, we'll do a recap on this one. And we'll also wrap everything up with the look at the out-of-town scoreboard. And there's a fastball taken for a called strike. And the count now goes to 2-1 to Sagano. So 2 balls and 1 strike with 2 away here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Here comes the pitch. It is a breaking ball that misses upstairs, and the count's now 3-1 to Sagano. They do have an open base. And waiting on deck is the new third baseman, Edney Hechevarria. So here comes the 3-1 pitch. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. It is lifted into right field. Moving in on it is Kishi. He's going to make the catch. Check that. They've got Ito out there now, so we'll have to get that as a change. And that is going to do it here for out number 3. And that is, there were no runs, no hits, no errors, and 2 runners left aboard. We are now through 8 complete. It is the Chiba Lotte Marines 8, the Saitama Seibu Lions 1. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a moment. I'm sure we got another pitching change on the way. Here's our friend Matt again.
Good evening, sports fans. I hope you all have been enjoying the game. This is just another message from another Hollis build. I hope that your team is in the lead, but if not, remember, that's life. That's what all the people say. You're riding high in April, shot down in May. But you know I'm gonna change that tune. When I'm back on top in June. I said that's life. And as funny as it may seem, some people get their kicks stomping on my team, but I don't let it get me down. 'Cause this fine old world, it keeps spinning around. I hope you enjoy the rest of the game, and if it remains the same, remember, that's life. You want your fill? Go check another Hollis build on YouTube. Last Raps Baseball. Let's get back to the game. Let's go! You know that's life. You know it. One love and peace.
Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be Yuki Kuniyoshi coming into the ball game. Right-hander is taking over here for the Marines. We saw him pitch the other night, and he was not sharp. So they are probably giving him an opportunity to come in and be able to get a little bit of work done here in the top of the 9th inning. And he was an acquisition last year by the Marines. And he was acquired, I believe it was from the Bay Stars. But I may be incorrect on that one. It was at Yokohama. And he came over and played a little bit of a role in the bullpen for the Marines in the playoffs. Experienced right-hander. He's pitched in One game this year, he's allowed around his ERA is at 9. So this is an opportunity for him to come in and work on his game a little bit. And so here comes the first pitch. It is a fastball delivered upstairs for ball 1. The count is 1-0. We do have a pinch hitter for the catcher, Mori. It's supposed to be Mori, Genda, and Kuriyama. So 1 ball and no strikes. There's a fastball delivered and taken for a called strike, and the count is 1-1. So pinch hitter here for the Lions is Senatsuge. So he is replacing Mori. There is a ball that misses, and the count is now 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Kuniyoshi ready to go back to work. He kicks and delivers. There's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is 3-1. So 3 balls and 1 strike. So Kuniyoshi ready to go back to work. He delivers. There's a fastball swung on and missed. And the count goes to 3-2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Kuniyoshi ready to go back to work. He gets the assign from his catcher. He holds set at the belt. He kicks and delivers. There's the payoff pitch. It is a fastball swung on and missed. Kuniyoshi has struck out the first batter he's faced for out number 1, and that's supposed to bring up Suzuki Genda. As we said, we may see some wholesale changes here for the Lions. So we'll wait on this to see if it is Genda coming to the plate. So 1 up and 1 away, and that brings up. We're supposed to bring up Genda, and it is Suzuki Genda. Right-hander against the left-hander. Here's the first pitch. It is a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. For Genda tonight, he is 1 for 4. He's got his average up to 292 on the season. Here's the 0-1 pitch. It's a fastball swung on and missed. Count is 0-2. Kuniyoshi can really bring the heater up. He's sitting on 95 miles an hour. Power righty. Ready to go back to work. Here's the 0-2 pitch. There's a fastball that misses down, and the count is 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Genda. So here comes the 1-2 pitch. There's a fastball that misses off the outside corner, and the count now goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Kuniyoshi ready to go back to work. He kicks and he delivers. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into center field. Moving over underneath it is the center fielder Fujiwara. He's going to make the catch, and that is going to do it for Genda. He is out number 2. The Lions are down to their last batter. Scheduled to bat is Takumi Kuriyama. We're going to see if the Lions are going to go to the bench, give somebody else an opportunity here. But it doesn't look like it. It is Kuriyama coming to the plate. So here comes the first pitch from Kuniyoshi. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that's taken for a called strike at the knees, and the count is quickly 0-1. On the season, Kuriyama is 3 for 20. He's batting 150. As we said, there's a lot of ugly-looking batting averages here, although some of those averages might have got stronger with that big Marine inning of 5 hits, or 5 runs and 4 hits. There's a breaking ball that misses outside. The count goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. There's a fastball delivered that just misses off the outside corner, and the count goes to 2-1. That's where I talk about the game management right there. That pitch looked pretty good. But Umpire wants this game to keep going. There's a fastball swung on it, is lined over the head of Nakamura into right field. And Kuriyama is aboard with a single. That is going to bring up the first baseman, or scheduled to bring up the first baseman, Nin-Ting Wu. So Kuriyama aboard with his first base hit of the night. That's the 7th hit of the ball game for the Lions. The right-hander Kota Futaki is looking on. His night was done a couple innings ago, and he's in line for the win. So Wu to the plate with 1 on and 2 out, and he swings at a first pitch fastball. He lifts it into left center field. Coming in underneath it is the left fielder Takabe. He's going to make the catch, and that is going to do it here in Chiba. So your final score, everybody, is the Chiba Lotte Marines 8, the Saitama Seibu Lions 1. Stick around. We're going to come back in just a moment. We're going to wrap this baby up. We're going to give you the out-of-town scoreboard. We'll look at the final stuff here, and then we'll call it a night. Reminder, we will be back on the waves again tomorrow night, so hopefully everybody can stop on by and listen again. It'll be 10 o'clock Pacific time. It will be 1 a.m. Eastern. Stick around, everybody. I'll be back in just a moment. Before we give you the recap, thanks to Zero Fox. We appreciate you being here and checking in as well. And so the final score again is the Chiba Lotte Marines 8, the Saitama Seibu Lions 1. It's pretty much all Marines tonight. The scoring got going back in the 4th inning on a 2-run homer by Brandon Laird. He added another run in the 5th inning when Leonis Martin hit a sacrifice fly to knock in Kyoto Fujiwara. And then in the 7th inning, that's where the game got ugly. There were 5 runs scored in that inning on 4 hits. There was a benefit of 3 base-on balls that did damage. There were 4 in the inning in total. But it was the pitching of Ren Omagari who came in and lit the mound on fire. And that allowed the Chiba Lotte Marines to put 5 runs onto the board. And then the Saitama Seibu Lions got one back in their half of the 8th inning. It was a walk to Wu, a single by Kishi. Eventually, it was a single by Yamada that brought in the runner Wu, and that is your final score of 8-1. Just a few quick checks from around the league, and then we're going to call it a night. We'll look at that out-of-town scoreboard. In the Pacific League, the only other game underway, the Oryx Buffaloes are winning 7-0 over the Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters. That's in the top of the 8th inning. Of course, the game between Fukuoka and Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles was postponed because of COVID cases. The Amuri Giants knocked off the Hanshin Tigers 5-4 today. That game is a final. The bottom of the 9th inning, it is 2-2 between Yokohama and Yakult. Bottom of the 11th, it is Hiroshima 2, Chinichi 2. That is your out-of-town scoreboard. All right, everybody. Well, once again, you've listened to another Last Rounds Baseball video production. We appreciate you all being here. Come on back and see us again tomorrow night. We'll do it all over again, but it is a final Chiba Lotte Marines 8, the Saitama Seibu Lions 1. That's all for tonight, everybody. Thanks again for being here with us. Have a great night, everybody.